Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Good to see everyone in here. Hey, Mama Homestead #1. All right. Hello, PG. Hello, hello, hello. And Pam O'Connor #2. Hey, PG. Good to see you, girl. Good to see you. And Kathy #3. Big smile. You made #3 tonight. All right. And Foxy #4 says, "Hey PG, hey to you, girl. God bless." Hey Sue, how you doing, sweetie? Oh, that is beautiful. That's beautiful. Hello, PG. Prayers, many prayers for all these missing kids. God bless. Hey Carla, how you doing tonight, girl? Good to see you. There's Angel. Let me get on down through here. Miss Justice 111, much love, PG. Much love to you. Much love to everybody. God bless. Hey, Brat, good to see you. Good evening, PG. Much love. God bless. Summer Moon, Utah Wells, Miss Norway, prayers. God bless. Hey, Australia, good to see you. Lonely Wolf. I'm trying to hit as many people as I can as we go down through here. Hey, Jane Allen, there's Wild Child. Says hello. Seeking truth. Fishing hook thief. God bless. Good to see you. Kicking the bucket. How you doing, sweetie? Beautiful. I love that name. Oh, we got the real Andy B. What's up, PG? Last time I seen you, man, you tell me go eat pot. Right? that's what I remembered. Hey, Lisa, how's it going? Lovely London, how's it going? Brandy, good to see you, sweetie. Australia, there's my Australia. How you doing, sweetie? Good to see you. Hey, Pam, good to see you in here, girl. Hello, PG Mods in chat. Hello, hello, hello. Yeah, tonight. Hey, I just want to send a God bless out to everybody that observed the Sabbath yesterday. I know I did. I know I observed the Sabbath, and it was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So, for everybody that was sitting in their place and doing what the Lord wants you to do, God bless. God bless. I just want to call that out. And but we're back tonight. We're back tonight. God was willing, and here we are. God bless. Hey, Molly, there you are, girl. There you are. God bless. Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Molly. Molly helps PG a lot. Molly helps PG a lot. Sometimes I can't find things. Sometimes I cannot find some things. I mean, I know they exist, but I don't know where they're existing. And sometimes Molly steps in and helps PG out. She goes and researches and sends it over to me and you know, like my right hand. And I so appreciate that. So shout out to Molly. God bless. Much love. Absolutely. I love that girl. Absolutely love her. I give her hell. She gives me hell. Right? But hey, it's all good. End of the day, it's all good. Hey, Angel Girl, how you doing, sweetie? Brandy, it's good to see you. God bless. But tonight we're going to talk about was Andy B at work? Was he at work? You know, a lot of people, Ryan tell something, I don't fucking know what. All right. I guess, what does he tell? I guess he's like, oh, a vision. He tells a vision. Right? I don't know. But I don't know what is the name, the rest of it. I just know Ryan does something. But anyway, he showed no proof. He showed no proof when you know, when he said, "Oh yeah, Andy was at work." Um, he didn't show no proof. He didn't, nothing. And out here, people want receipts, right? Everybody wants receipts. Was Andy Bernard at work? Is Fred telling the truth or is Fred lying? I bet Fred's probably got his head in the bushes. If he hasn't, he will real soon, right? Because Fred, if you're watching, hon, tonight is not your night. Right? Tonight is not Fred's night. Fred's going to be a little upset here, because you know, is Fred lying? Ding 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 ding. I think he is. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Fred, Fred ain't getting back up. All right, he ain't getting back up. he no, Fred, you lied. You absolutely, positively lied. And PG's got the proof. I got the proof. Let's do it, you guys. Let's do it. Boom.
Hayward, sir.
Hi. I'd like to talk to Brian Hayworth. Is he there by any chance?
No, he doesn't really come in a whole lot anymore.
Okay, do you know Andy Bernard?
I do.
Okay, he told us if we called you or called to work that you would vouch that he was there all day, June 15th, 2021.
Best I remember, yes, he was.
So your memory is he was there the whole entire day?
Correct.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
No problem. Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I'm loving it. I am loving it. Dun, 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 dun. I'm loving it. Hey, Fred. Where are you? Where are you? I spent the whole day getting in and out of the road for Andy. He was meeting up with cars and trucks and boats. Right? He was, I seen a boat come by. Andy jumped on it and sailed on down the road. Oh, shit. Sorry, Fred. Andy was at work. He was at work all day long. Right there's the proof. I called to work. He was there. Andy was there. Now, we have a little bit of problem out here, right? We got a little bit of a problem. And a little bit of the problem is, what car was Andy driving? What vehicle was Andy driving that day? I know Andy B is in the chat, so can he tell us what car he was driving on June 15th, 2021? Was he driving Jodie Sue's new car, or was he driving his vehicle? What exactly was you driving, Andy? If you can, enlighten us, I would like to know. What vehicle was you driving on June 15th, 2021? Right? What happened to Andy? Did he run off? The Saul. All right. Did that belong to you or Jodie Sue? Was that Jodie Sue's vehicle or yours? Was that yours or Jodie Sue's vehicle? It was in my name. Okay, but it was considered. It was considered Jodie Sue's new vehicle. It was in my name, but was it considered Jodie Sue's new vehicle? Loan was in my name. So, is it what she usually drove, or is it I don't, it doesn't matter whose name it was in. Who usually drove it? You or Jodie Sue? It sat there. Okay, it sat there. So pretty much it was for if Jodie Sue needed a vehicle, it was kind of there for Jodie Sue. When Jodie Sue said, my vehicle, she meant that particular vehicle. Most of the time, either I drive it or it's set there. Well, what vehicle? What vehicle belonged to Jodie Sue? Did Jodie Sue even have a vehicle? Did Jodie Sue have a vehicle? Yeah, it was bought for her mostly. Okay. So this particular vehicle was bought for her mostly. I see. Okay. That's what I was wanting to know. Because maybe you can clear this up for us. It says right here, Andy, is it true you drove Jodie Sue Brown's new car to work the day Summer went missing? You answered, yeah, I'm pretty sure I did, April. Now, there's a problem here with this because you go on in someone else's at someone else's chat, they said, the real Andy B, you said the other day in chat you were driving Jodie Sue's Browns on June 15th, correct? And you said, right there you are, no, on lockdown. You said, no, you wasn't. You told one person you wasn't driving that vehicle, but back here, you said that yes, you was. So was you or was you not driving? And just now you said you were. So what? Clear that up for us. So do you know what vehicle you were driving that day? Do you even remember? I mean, all we want's the truth. If you can't remember, say, hey, I don't damn remember. I mean, it wasn't my child missing. I wasn't really thinking or concentrating. Was you, and I'm not trying to twist it. I'm just trying to get the truth upon it. I mean, you were at work all day. You was at work all day. But, Jodie Sue says, her vehicle wasn't there. She says that her vehicle wasn't there. So, if you don't remember, I said what I remembered to the best. Oh, so so to the best of your recollection, you was driving the car that usually just sat there, the one that was bought for Jodie Sue. Yes, that's yes. Well, she always had something to drive. Yeah, I can't twist his own words. I mean, here he says he says, yeah, I'm pretty sure I did, April. And then over here he says, no lockdown. I wasn't driving it. You know, but June the 15th, I mean, maybe he doesn't, maybe, maybe he doesn't remember. Maybe he doesn't remember. I mean, like I said, he gets home, he parks the vehicle, and all this excitement's going on, and all these things, and he's running around, and but I would think if you had a vehicle that whole day, that vehicle was at your job that whole day, you would have pretty much knew. But then again, some people don't. I mean, some people don't. I mean, if I had, well, I do have a couple vehicles. I'm not going to lie about it. I do have more than one. And to be honest with you, at some points I've had quite a few. So yeah, if someone asked me on this day, was you driving this one or was you driving that one? I might not remember. I don't know. I have no idea, but but I think I would remember if someone's kid came up missing, especially like across the road. I think I would definitely remember what vehicle I was driving if something traumatic happened. I don't know. You don't know what happened to Summer. Well, you seem to have some type of idea. I mean, you have an opinion on it. We all have opinions, right? We all have opinions. Do I believe that you had anything to do with what happened? What directly happened to Summer, June the 15th, 2021? Like, what directly went down that day? Well, I got to say yes and I got to say no. I don't think you had anything to do with, with Summer no longer being here. I don't think you have anything to do with, with what went down as far as, I think you know what went down. I think you know why it went down. That's my opinion. I think you do know, and I think you know why. But I don't think you do. I think you did it. No, I don't think you did it at all. I think, in my opinion, Candace got up early that morning, took her mommy, had to have an excuse to leave with Summer. I think everything that happened to Summer was pre-planned. It was planned out, carried out June 15th, 2021. I honestly believe it was planned. I think more people knew about this plan than just Don, Candace, and Grandis. Actually, I think you kind of knew about it, Auntie, to be honest with you. I think Jodie Sue knew. I truly believe Fred and Laura knew. I think a few people knew what was going on. I think I don't know if Allison knew, but I think Hunter did. And I think that, in my opinion, I truly believe that what teenage boy is going to be up freaking 8, 9 o'clock in the morning during, spring or summer break had just started. There was no school. I mean, no more teachers, no more books, no more principals, dirty looks, right? All of that good stuff. School's out. You get to sleep in, stay up late, sleep in the morning. I just don't think that some teenage child is going to be up 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. I do not know what code is going around right now, but PG's ass seemed to have caught it. But we're not here to talk about that. The thing is, in my opinion, Candace picked up Hunter. Hunter was waiting. She picked him up. She went to Allison's house. She picks up Hunter. She takes Hunter and she buys Hunter the illegal, substances that she got him. She got him twisted tea and she got him, vapes and she got him stuff, and it sounds to me like, and he drank it, like he said, he drank it right there at the, the horse pond. He drank everything and was, smoking it up and whatever. And it sounds like that Candace got this stuff to, impair this boy's judgment, impair his judgment, give him a shot of courage. And it sounds to me like, I do not believe Summer was alive on those milk jugs. I just absolutely do not believe that this child was alive on those milk jugs. I think she was unalived on those milk jugs. I think that so far Hunter has messed up tremendously. He said that because Candace was trying to convince everyone that Summer was dressed in that new outfit at the swimming hole. That is not true. She just went swimming and I put a new outfit on her, that was in the trunk, some clothes we had gotten. So I just changed her. No, she didn't, because Hunter said pillow. Oh, Summer was sitting on that. She was wet. Yeah, she was the only one swimming that day, he said. So he said she's on a pillow next to the driver's door, wet. That tells me that, she did not get changed at the swimming hole. She did not get changed. They went back to Walgreens. Summer was wet, sitting on a pillow next to the door. They went to Sonic. She was wet, laying against the door. She went to the store and she's still wet and laying against the door. Hunter had to sit back there because Grandis is taking the front seat. So Hunter had to sit back there, and that had to be pretty traumatic for him to be in that back seat. That's probably why he came out, why he was shaking. His mother and the people, his family witnessed that he was shaking real bad, wouldn't come out of his room, really having a hard time with everything. And then he had another breakdown later where he said that, what am I supposed to do? Just live with this stuff? Just live with it? Not say nothing? Just keep living with it? He had another breakdown later. Him and his girlfriend were fine. They were doing good. There was no problems between him and his girl. So what was he talking about? This is about the time Leslie came up on live, right? This is about the time she came up on live. He had this little breakdown right before she came up on live. I often wondered if that had something to do with her, her being on live. I don't know. My opinion, it could have. I mean, Hunter's own dad, Andrew, you guys heard it with your own ears. Andrew said that, PG, I find it suspicious how, Leslie ends up sick and head injury and unalived. And then Allison ends up sick, a head injury and unalived. And, the common denominator was Hunter, right? In both cases. So I don't know, um, who knows? Who knows? At this point, we suspect, we don't, we don't know for sure. We were not there. That's true. But this is, where the evidence is falling. This is, where the puzzle's fitting all of this scenario. That's where the pieces are falling into the puzzle. And then, Candace's, I believe they dressed Summer at Allison's house and then propped her up on, put the boxes out of the trunk, because Hunter said they moved the boxes to the trunk so he could get in the back seat. So why did they move them back? They moved them back so they could use them to prop the milk jugs and Summer up on them. And when you turn into Ben Hill Road, the boxes would have been actually blocking, if there was any tree trimmers left up in there, it would actually be blocking their view from inside the car where Summer was at, laying on those milk jugs. And Candace said, we took the video because she had her hands up behind her head. There's no way in hell she ever had them hands up behind her head. There's no, science would not allow it, right? There's no way, because the arm was actually wedged between the jugs of milk. Her little right arm was completely wedged with the milk and so forth. There's no way it could have ever been over her head, because it was wedged into the milk jugs, which would have, wouldn't allowed her arm to come up like that and go over her head. So therefore, that's, bullshit freaking lie that Candace told. And why would she tell a lie like this? What's the reasoning to lie? For the reason you took a video. Candace isn't very intelligent. Why? She should have said, well, I just took the video because I thought she was really cute in a new outfit laying on the milk jugs, I thought those new clothes really complimented her, and she looked so peaceful sleeping, and, I just took the video. Candace was working too hard. Candace was working way too hard trying to make up an excuse as to why she shot that video 10 minutes from the house, right? It was stagery. And she was working overtime. Her elaborated story was bullshit. And we were able to figure that out. So, that's a big red flag. Big red flag right there, you guys. She lied. Also, I believe that they hit back to Ben Hill Road, and Candace took Granny up on the hill. She came back off the hill. I do not believe the Summer ever got out of that vehicle. I believe she came back off the hill. She just went up there long enough to let Grandma get out, let the boys, know they were back, and see their sister, thinking that their sister's, coming on into the house or is out there somewhere in the yard. And I believe that Candace came back out when she said, I went over to talk to my mom, and she's sitting in the door. I believe that, no, you didn't come back out to go talk to your mommy. You came out, got back in that vehicle, went down to Fred Hill's house, is what you did. And that's when Chad Arnold came in and caught you, right? Chad Arnold came in and caught Candace down there. And Summer was gone. And who had just left? Who had just pulled out of there to go to the scrapyard to get rid of to scrap a vehicle? Fred and Laura. Fred and Laura, and no Summer was in the vehicle. So where did Summer go? Where did Summer disappear to? Between the time Fred and Laura pulled out and Chad Arnold pulled in. Where could there's no way Candace could have ran somewhere with a 50-pound kid or 40 pounds or whatever Summer weighed. She was like, she would have weighed at least, 3 to 4 bags of potatoes, right? 10-pound bags of potatoes. Take 4 of those suckers and try to carry them. As big as Candace is, trying to carry all of that weight. Where could she have ran and disposed of a child before Chad Arnold pulls up and catches her? Like nowhere, because, when he pulls in, he says she's still in her vehicle. She got out and asked if they were home. He said, well, Fred's truck ain't here. I don't think Fred's here. But she didn't go up to the door to see if Laura was. So she knew Laura was already gone. So that tells us that she's seen Fred and Laura leave. She knows they left. She knows they were there and they left. Yet Summer's disappeared. Summer's not with them, with her. So that tells me, that if she don't go up on the door to knock, she knows Laura is all gone with Fred as well. Right? Because she had already seen them. And that's what leads me to believe, in my opinion, that that's where Summer went to. In my opinion, she was handed off to Fred and Laura. Now, I don't think Andy really had anything to do with any of the stuff on June 15, 2021. What I do think is, where Andy's concerned, I do think that, Jodie Sue got upset with Andy and came out and told the truth on Andy. She came out and told the truth. You go over there and you ask him what he was selling and and I don't mean the goody good stuff. You ask him what he was selling to Candace to sedate those children, to sedate those little, not just Summer, but other little girls as well. I think that's where Andy comes into all of this, right? I think that's where Andy's fitting into it all. I think Andy had full knowledge of what was going on over at the Wells house. Very much so. I do. And, and I don't know why he didn't want people to know what vehicle he was riding. It seems like, Don was driving Candace's vehicle that day because it had Starlink, right? Extra protection on top of his phone pinging. Don was at work, hiding at work, making sure he was, armed up with alibis, right? And he was, he was in a safe place. He was hiding, while everything went down. And I truly believe, with the Starlink and the different vehicle, he fired his coworker the day before to blame it all on. So, that tells us it's pretty much pre-planned and carried out, right? Because he starts driving another vehicle he knows has Starlink to give him extra alibis. He fires his coworkers for someone to blame it on. So that tells us, this shit was pre-planned. I mean, no doubt in my mind, it was pre-planned. That's my opinion. I'll keep it. And also, Andy was driving a vehicle. He switched up vehicles too. Now, for somebody not to know what was going down, it seems like Andy was driving a whole different, vehicle that usually sits there, a vehicle that was bought for Jodie Sue, that's usually sitting there that he don't ever hardly drive. That day he just happens to be driving it for what? Extra alibi as well? It has tracking GPS, right? And Jodie Sue's vehicle supposedly had GPS. Exactly. It sounds like Andy and Don Wells wanted to make sure they had, extra alibis for being where they are. Now, I believe Andy was at work the whole day. Yes, I do. Absolutely. But I do think he has, I think he, my opinion, he has full knowledge of what went down, you know, what was going down. That's my opinion. Um, Let me see here. Here we go.
If you wake up and you go to bed happy every day, that ought to be a celebration. So, hell, if you wake up every morning, that ought to be pretty well.
Well, once upon a time, Summer got to wake up pretty happy herself. And I'm sure she was very grateful to wake up in the hellhole she was living in. Right? The hellhole she was living in. I'm sure, Andy, that there was days that she was so grateful to be up, and she was probably excited and really happy, until the abuse and neglect and all the shit started that day. And she probably was praying it wouldn't, but it seems like it must have always have started at some point for these children. And, Summer hasn't been able to wake up and enjoy any days for damn near 4 years now, Andy. Damn near 4 years. She hasn't got to wake up at all and enjoy anything, has she? No, absolutely not. If it wasn't for God Almighty and His Son Jesus Christ and a place we call heaven, well, Summer wouldn't be awake and running around and enjoying life with other children, that were victims of the same type of horrible abuse and tragic event that she was, right? So we got to thank God for heaven. We got to thank God that all children go there, right? Especially 5-year-olds that done nothing to deserve what was done to her all that time. Right? I mean, Andy, you're trying too hard to convince yourself. You're trying too hard to convince yourself that it had nothing to do with you. And all that shows, all that is showing me, all I'm seeing out of that, all I'm seeing out of all of that is you trying to make yourself feel better about something. I don't even know what, but you do. We're not going to talk about that.
I mean, I don't know. If I knew, trust me, I'd have told by now. I would have told the first 3 days. If I knew what happened to Summer, I would have done told. And the way people think that everybody's involved in the holler, you look at it from the perspective of, do you?
Hey, kick the bucket. I appreciate it. Starting off the night right. Hey, girl, absolutely. And I see that another one's coming by. Under your scars. Hey, girl, I appreciate it. God bless. Thanks for keeping Summer's name out there. Not much, but Happy New Year's. I like your email to show you something, PG. Hey, girl, my mods will put that email in the chat for you so that you can email me. You can also find me on Summer's Facebook. If you do Facebook, you can find me there and we can chat through Messenger. Absolutely. So ask my mods and they'll be glad to help you with the email and the Facebook that we run for Summer. I appreciate it. I appreciate your support for Summer's channel, sweetie. God bless. Absolutely. Oh, wow, Carla. I appreciate that. God bless, girl. I appreciate it. Super chat. God bless. I appreciate you guys. Absolutely. God bless. Amen. Right, Molly? I appreciate that. Brat. I appreciate it. Absolutely. My mods are awesome. Yeah. And that's the email. That's the email for you, sweetie. Australia put it in. Australia put in the email, and also they'll put in the Facebook. You can find me on either one. I am on Facebook a lot. I'm on Facebook a lot, and I keep up with Facebook and Messenger as much as possible. I'm in there daily. Absolutely. God bless.
Think you know anybody that could hurt a child like that? And I mean, I'm like, no, not really. Not with the people that I was around. I mean, I wasn't around nobody at the time that Summer went missing. I went out gallivanting. I wasn't up to no fuckery. I went to work. I come home. I was on a time limit when I did so. So I just, I mean,
What's your opinion, though?
Him explaining that he wasn't up to no, efferys is basically him saying he wasn't up to no efferys is it's basically for Jodie Sue. That's for Jodie Sue's peace of mind. It's like, a little poke at her. I wasn't up to no efferys, Jodie Sue type thing, but he obviously was up to some efferys because he came flying off that hill, right? I don't know if he came off faster than Grandis or Grandis came off faster than him, but I'm going to tell you, I'm surprised that they did not collide down there on Ben Hill, because both of them was leaving smoke, right? Both of them was leaving smoke behind them, coming off those hills, getting out of there. And when Andy came flying off of there, right? And I don't know which one, got out of there first, because it was like a race. It was like a race, right? Off the hill and out of there. And to be honest with you, the truth is he ran off with this woman, right? This woman he's with now, the one he married, the one he put a ring on, that Jodie Sue was so upset with. Yeah. Anyhow, he had to be up to some efferys before this, because no woman, you just ain't gonna fly off a hill and go knock on. Hey, baby, let me in. Who are you? I don't know you. Oh, yes, you do, honey. I'm knocking on your door. Let me in. We can live together. Okay, here, let me open my door and you come on in. Hell no, it doesn't work like that. You had to be up to efferys, long before this with this woman, because she don't know you good enough to be letting you just, come and move in and, live forever with her. I mean, people don't meet somebody today, move in tomorrow. I mean, that's insane. That is like totally insane, right? No, I'm afraid not. That's just weird. Hey, old Sullivan, I appreciate it. I appreciate that. I am so glad you're on tonight. You're the highlight of my night. Hey, girl, you guys are the highlight of my night. God bless each and every one of you. But yes, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, I see what I need to do. Well, I just tell the truth, right? Just tell the truth. That's what you need to do. Just tell the truth. I mean, this is America, baby. We're allowed to have our opinions. We are allowed to have our opinions on, on Summer's case, and nobody can stop that. This is America. It's freedom of speech. And, you're all suspects. And according to the law, you're all suspects. I'm not calling you suspects. The law did. They said everybody's suspect. Hey, Phoebe, I'm bringing you up. If you want to close camera, you can. What's up, girl?
Hey PG,
How's it
um,
going?
do you mind if I just say a few things to some of them out there?
I'll go right ahead.
Andy, everywhere I go, you're there. Your name pops up any chat room I'm in. I don't care if you say that you're innocent. You have guilty knowledge. Fred Hill, you have guilty knowledge. Fred, you're a liar. Ziggy, shut the fuck up and leave PG alone. And Jodie Sue Brown, you shut up too. You're all a pack of liars. And to Ziggy and Tiffany Marie, what you did to Jodie Sue the other day was just appalling. You should be ashamed of yourselves. That's all
Oh,
I've got to say, PG.
what did they do to her? Please do tell.
They played out for a 12-hour loop about her saying that Andy gave Summer and other little girls different substances, about him seeing Summer's body, and just the bullying. They just attacked her
Right, right,
for 24 hours straight, and Ziggy doesn't like it when it's done to her.
right. But
She's
Jodie
she's a
Sue did.
big bully, that girl.
Jodie Sue did say Andy
Yes, she did.
sold that stuff to Candace to sedate these children.
She did.
And I believe her. I
I
believe
do
her.
too.
And law enforcement went and knocked on her door over that one. They went and knocked on her door. Now, I think they believed her too, because law enforcement don't come knocking on your door if they don't believe it.
Yep.
They couldn't use it or do nothing about it because she changed up her story. But, the point being is, I believe right at that particular moment, she was telling the truth.
Exactly. I believe her too. But I
Mm-hmm.
also, what I'm saying is too that I'm sick of seeing you get bullied.
Yeah, there's no
I'm so
reason.
sick of it.
There's no reason for, for no one should be bullied. We're trying to find the truth. We're trying to find the truth for Summer, for this missing 5-year-old child. We are
Yep.
trying to find the truth for this child. And there's decent ways to go about it, and there's ways that you shouldn't go about it. Um, you know,
And
but
it disgusts me how none of them will say anything. They're all a
well,
pack of liars.
they're all lying. They're all lying. And even when Jodie Sue tells the truth, she tells law enforcement, as long as I don't say this to you, they ain't nothing you can do about it.
Yep.
I didn't say this to you. There's no, she basically let them know, and firsthand, she let them know that she knows, this woman knows the law, and she knows that she can tell the truth out here to all of us, or tell us lies, tell us truth, or tell us lies. And as long as she doesn't say it directly to law enforcement, they ain't a damn thing law enforcement can do about it. And I
Yep.
think that's BS, because I think when someone, when someone is this close to a child's disappearance, I believe that
Absolutely.
if you make a statement like that, I think law enforcement should be able to come pick you up, take you down for questioning, and ask you to take a lie detector's test.
There's enough information on YouTube that I've seen to put Donald Wells and Candace Wells behind bars for life.
Hey, and if Jodie Sue's telling the truth, there's enough right there to put Andy behind bars for a while is also,
Yep.
right?
They'll go into jail anyway, and so will Fred and maybe Ziggy now.
Um, well, last time I checked, they don't put people in jail for wanting for standing outside the prison gate waiting for some prisoner to come out so they can get a social security check every month. Right?
But what if Fred has told her in confidence
um,
about Summer?
I don't think that he would have to tell her anything. I think she would just protect him no matter what. I
I
mean,
do too.
you know, there's no way that Ziggy doesn't suspect him of, having his hand in a lot of dirty things.
And she's in
There's no,
danger now too.
and there's no way that she doesn't, especially in the case of Cotton, the case of Cotton Simpson, there is no way that, she believes that Fred is all innocent when everybody knows that Cotton spent the whole day at Fred's house that day, doing what Fred likes doing best. And and this guy wasn't anywhere else except the gas station before he went there, picking up all them cigarettes and talking to a couple other people he knew before he headed to Fred's. That's how they knew he was going to Fred's, and spent
Yep.
the whole day there. So, and nobody else seen him until, he was found. He was found, at Laurel Run,
Yeah, I
on
saw the
alive.
area where he was found.
Right. He was found on alive. And ain't it funny that Fred's the only one that seems to know what blow it was that took him out of
Yep.
this world?
Yep.
And,
And there's another body he's responsible for. We just don't know who.
and
I don't know who it is.
I think it could have been Summer. I think it could have been Summer. I mean, they're suspecting him in an unliving, and law enforcement, Detective Pruitt pretty much made it clear that they suspect Summer's no longer with us. So, I'm thinking that could have been the other unliving. And, that's my opinion. And he showed the lie detectors test to Cotton's case, and we've seen that it came out, inconclusive, meaning that, he wasn't telling the truth, but they couldn't determine how bad. Well, actually, inconclusive means you failed the damn thing anyway.
Yep.
And, and obviously he failed the other one even worse. Because they wouldn't give you, if they suspected you of two, they're not going to give you one lie detector's test. They're going to give you two of them. And the other one must have barely been bad because he didn't show it. And he ain't letting us know who the other person was as well. So, there's a lot being covered up there, right?
There's a heap being covered up.
And I'm pretty
It's so
sure
sad.
if law enforcement would have seen any sign of life, any sign of, movement or life in Summer Moon Utah Wells at Sonic's or at Walgreens or at the store, before they hit it to Hunter's house, I think law enforcement would have brought that video out, out to try to, to clear Hunter, the 15-year-old kid that was going through so much hell. I think they would have brought some of that video out to, clear some things up, but they didn't see anything. And that's why the lady that worked at the sheriff's office for many years that retired, when she talked to Ronnie and said, would you like me, is there anything you want me to have the YouTubers ask, Don and Candace? And they said, yeah, ask them why they waited 4.5 hours to call law enforcement. Well, that would have put Summer back on the milk jugs.
Poor little girl.
Right?
Oh,
So that pretty much told you what law enforcement thinks, right? Just that statement let us know,
yeah,
what law enforcement's thinking.
that
I
poor
mean,
little baby.
yeah, and the sad thing is, this little girl and her brothers lived up there, and they were so neglected, so abused in many different ways. And, put up with this little girl, she lived 5 short years, but those 5 short years felt like eternity with all the hell and abuse,
Poor little thing.
that,
Yeah,
that poor little child was going through, in my opinion.
dirty
And,
old father.
it felt like eternity. It,
Yeah,
it, it was, it felt like so long that the boys were wanting to, can I write the judge? If we can't talk to him, can we write him? Please don't send us back there. We don't want to go back. I
yeah.
mean,
So she's been missing now nearly half as long, half
right?
longer than her life that she lived here on the earth. 5 short years, and we're going on 4 years of her being missing. And not one person can tell the bloody truth.
No, they can't.
Shame on them all.
Hey, I'm going to tell you, the one thing we have to remember, is we serve a mighty God, and justice will get served. It will get served. If not here on earth, it will get served,
Absolutely. And they're
and
already paying for it now because Candace's health has deteriorated, and Don doesn't look much healthier than Candace.
right?
They look terrible.
Yeah, evil does not pay.
Yep. No. Anyway, PJ, I'm going to get down.
Hey, I appreciate you
Love you
coming up. God
loads.
bless. God
And
bless, sweetie.
Ziggy, stop picking on PG.
And quit. They're going at Jodie Sue. They're going.
Yeah.
They don't
Stop
need to.
bullying everyone. Just worried about your own bloody marriage.
They don't need to go. They don't need to go at Jodie Sue. What they need to do
No.
is be going at these people. You know, they're sitting there and they're playing out. They're playing out what Jodie Sue said. About Andy. So why are they not? Why are they not asking Andy? About what substance were you using?
Yeah, why don't they give her...
What substance was you giving Candace to use on these kids? What the hell
Yeah,
was it? Give us an
they need to
idea
pick
of
on
what.
Andy a bit more, I think.
I think that I don't say pick on him. I say, but interrogate him, ask him the questions, right? Ask him the
Yep.
questions, because the answers need to be had. The
And those
answers need to be
parents...
had. What was Candace? What was Candace using to do this to these children? What was Don Wells and Candace using to do this to these children? And and Andy, you had all knowledge that Don Wells is over there showering up with this child. Why was this not reported to Child Protective Services? I mean, if I went to somebody's house and there's a little girl, some little 5-year-old child, coming to the doorway in the birthday suit, screaming for towels and this and that.
running around in
Right.
nappies, running
And
around with dirty faces, snot hanging out of their noses,
well,
bruises on their face.
my big concern,
Call the police.
my big concern would be this child in her birthday suit flying out of a shower, hollering and screaming, and this big old man
Yeah, dirty
coming
old.
behind her, is like, what the hell? What's going on in there, right?
And he's a brat.
Why isn't this mother, bathing her children. I mean, why ain't this mom taking care of her kids? Who in the hell is this man? This child's too old. 5 years old, that's too old to be in the freaking shower with daddy.
Yep.
That's insane.
It's disgusting.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep. Anyway, PJ, I'm going to get down.
All right. I appreciate
Love
you coming
you.
up.
All right.
God
Bye.
bless. God bless.
God bless.
Yeah. That why wasn't Andy calling Child Protective Services? Why wasn't he calling CPS saying, hey, this weird dude over there across the road who I don't know them. They're just some weirdos across the road over there. That we have nothing to do with. We really don't know them that well, but hey, I was pulled up at their front of their house, in my truck, hanging out with them, and I see this kid come flying out and this weird guy behind the child, and it ain't looking kosher. I think, it needs to be looked into. Why wasn't he telling? Why wasn't he helping? I mean, and like she said, they seen those kids dirty and I mean, all of these people, right? Even Allison's daughter says, that Summer, she saw Summer and she had no underpants on and True's talking about how filthy, that area was. Why didn't you report that to Child Protective Services? Why didn't you report it? Why didn't you report that this woman is up here and her, with the child, that she ain't keeping any type of underpants on, right? No type of underpants on this child. It needs to be looked into. Who lets their child run around with no underpants on? That's disgusting. Why wasn't these things reported? There's so many people knew all of these dirty secrets about Don sleeping with this child in his birthday suit, right in the middle. Him showering up with this child. All of these, all these people knew about these dirty, dark secrets. And no one reported them. No one reported. What the fuck was going on? What was going on? I know, Andy. No, Andy. Daddies don't get in the shower with 5-year-old little girls. Daddies just don't do that. Daddies tell mommy, hey, this kid is way too old. I would say after the age of maybe 1 or 2, that child's way too old to be bathing. And with, especially with daddy. Especially with daddy. A little girl bathing with mommy, that's one thing. Maybe 2, 3, 4 years old bathing with mommy, that's one thing. But a child gets up 5 years old, that child is pretty much able to bath itself. It don't need to be in the shower with mommy or daddy. That's kind of disgusting if you ask me. I don't know how you guys do it up on Ben Hill Road, but in normal households, and they ain't 5-year-old kids bathing up with fucking daddy. That's sick. Daddy has to pick up this. Not when mommy isn't working. I mean, Jodie Sue was a full-time mom. She's a full-time mom, and I don't think Jodie Sue is letting you shower up with your 5-year-old daughter, Andy. Was Jodie Sue letting you shower up with your 5-year-old daughter? I don't fucking think so. I really don't. Hell no. So why don't you answer that? Why don't you answer that? Because I don't see it. I do not see it, Andy. I don't shower with my kids. Absolutely. You sure the hell don't. Because Jodie Sue wouldn't allow that shit. She wouldn't allow that shit. And I'm going to tell you something. Candace did. Candace did. And that's disgusting. There you go. Right there. I don't shower with my kids. Right? I'm going to tell you, yes, Jodie Sue did. Yes, Jodie Sue did, Andy. Jodie Sue, we have it on recording where Jodie Sue said you and her pulled up there to that door at the Wells house, to that freaking front door, not the basement, the front door. And she said that Summer came flying out there, hollering, screaming, in her birthday suit, wanting a towel, carrying on, called her a little brat, and said that Don Wells was back in there behind her, coming out of the shower too. She did say that. Yes, she did. Put a 1 in the chat, everybody, if you remember Jodie Sue saying she saw Don behind Summer coming out of the shower. Put a 1 in the chat because I remember her saying it. Matter of fact, I have it on recording. I absolutely have it on recording. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. It was said. It was said right out of your old lady's mouth. And Allison's daughter said that she seen it. Allison seen it. Jose seen it. Actually, Jose made Candace get a towel. He said, if you don't get her out, I will. He went and got Summer's towel. And he told Candace, you either get her out or I'll get her out for you. But she's coming out of that shower. Now, I don't know what he heard. I don't know what he's seen. But he wanted Summer to hell out of that shower with Dawn. And that's why 911 got called. And even when 911 got called, Dawn was still going at Summer. Dawn was still, in the 911 call, they said that he was still going after her. He's attacking Summer, is what Candace said. He's attacking my daughter. He was still going at her. Even after she was taken out of the shower with him. So you tell me what the hell was going on there, Andy. You tell me what's going on there. It sounds to me like something pretty fucking nasty was going on. Put a 1 in the chat if you think something pretty nasty was going on, because that's my opinion, and I will keep it. And Candace gets a new car. Jose gets ran off, and Candace gets a new car to keep her fucking mouth shut. Right? She takes a payoff to keep her mouth shut instead of protecting her daughter. That's what fucking lives on Ben Hill Road, right? That right there is what lives on Ben Hill Road. Creepy mother freakers like Don Wells, if you ask me. That's my opinion too. A bunch of creepy weirdos like Don Wells. Just saying. Just saying. Absolutely. Absolutely, Carolyn. Absolutely. I agree. I agree. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Right. She did. She told us many, many abusive stories, right? Like liquor being in the kids' drinking cup, being in the kids' sippy cups, right? How dirty and nasty the sippy cups and stuff was. How Candace was, not feeding or taking care of the kids right. How everybody had to pitch in and give food and clothes and whatever they could because, Andy says Don had money. Don had money. Yeah, and Jodie Sue said you were getting like 1,000 plus of it a week, Andy. Jodie Sue said you was getting most of everything. She couldn't even figure out how Don and Candace afforded cigarettes and some liquor and what little a bag of fucking corn dogs. After after giving you everything he had, according to Jodie Sue. That's not my words. That's your ex-old lady's words, right? That's your ex-old lady's words. I mean, I have no idea, but I'm going to tell you, if Don Wells was giving you 1,000 plus a week, it was for a lot more than some fucking goody good. I mean, I don't think he was buying a pound of it a week. He could have been, right? He could have been. But even at that, I mean, it had to either be some really good shit, right? It had to be some really good stuff, or else, there was something more they were getting besides that. Because even a pound, like a pound, it taps out. It usually taps out, especially if they're a good customer. It taps out at $1,000. It taps out at 1,000. If they're buying, if they're taking like ship 4 or 5 of them a month from you, it taps out about 900 to 1,000, even for the best shit. So what else were they getting if it was 1,000 plus a week? So what the hell was the plus? What was the plus is what I want to know, right? Just saying. I'm going to tell you, Don and Andy, and what was you doing at Andy, what was you doing at Don's house the night before he went to jail? Well, since you're in here and you're so caught up in the conversation over here and you like being here, what was you doing at Don Wells' house the night before he went to jail? What was you doing there? I know you was there. I heard you. So what was you doing there? Yes, you was. Yes, you was there. You was there, Andy. You say you wasn't there? Yes, you was. Absolutely, you was there. The night before he went to jail, Tim Mullins took him to jail the next day. The night before, you was there, and you was there late in the evening. Yes, you were. Why are you lying? Why are you lying? Because I know for a fact that your ass was there. I heard you. No, you was not gone. You was already living with that chick off the hill, yeah, but you were at Don's house. You were there the night before he went to jail. Yes, you was. Yeah, he's lying. He is absolutely lying. I know for a fact he was there. That's 100%. That is 100% you was. Yes, you were, Andy. And that ain't BS. That ain't BS. That's the truth. Yes, you were. I think, no, I'm not lying. No, I'm not lying. Don Wells said that was you. I heard your voice. I said, is that Andy? He said, yes, this is Andy. You was leaving. You were on your way out. You were leaving when I heard you. You were leaving. You were getting ready to leave. And you was there, and that was the night before he went to jail. I remember. Don't say you weren't. Yes, you was. You need to think back, because it's like you got Alzheimer's. You might want to go get checked, man. You might want to get checked, because you don't seem to know what fucking car you were driving on June the 15th, 2021. You don't seem to know, you don't remember being at the Wells house. You don't remember, you ain't remembering much of nothing, are you? Yes, you was. Don Wells said you were. Why the fuck would he lie about you being there? He don't got no reason to lie about you being there. And I heard you. I heard you as you were leaving. Now, I don't know your voice as good as I know Jodie Sue's at the time. I knew Jodie Sue's voice whenever I heard it because, you know, she had her ass out here running that mouth all the time. We hadn't heard so much. Oh, you don't care what that piece of shit says. You don't care what that piece of shit says. You don't care what Don Wells says. Don Wells, I know you're in the bushes right there. That right there came from Andy. He said he don't care what that piece of shit. He's talking about you, Don Wells. He don't care what that piece of shit says. I called you a piece of shit, dude. All right. Andy calling Don Wells a piece of shit. He says, I don't give a fuck what that piece of shit says. That is hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Yeah. You were there. You were there.
Will it get me in trouble?
No, nobody cares. Nobody's even here, man. Nobody's even watching. How do you feel about Don?
How do I feel about Don? Now,
Yes, sir.
okay, so at first, I don't think Don knew what happened. Maybe later on, but as far as me seeing Don, talking to Don, it's one of those situations that Don just seems like a broke dude. He feels that his daughter has disappeared. He don't know, but I just
If Andy don't know Don Wells, you know, if Andy don't know Donald, right? They're just acquaintances. The people over there, we're over here. We really don't know each other. Then how does he know how Don feels? How does he know anything about Don if he don't know Don? You can't make calls like this unless you know someone, right? Unless you know them. Put a one in the chat if you agree with me. If you agree that you have to know someone to make calls like this on how they're feeling, put a one in the chat. Because I don't think I can tell someone how someone's feeling unless I freaking know them, right? I have to know this person in order to, you know, be able to tell you guys how they feel and, you know, all of this stuff about them. I mean, you know, yeah, that's common freaking sense right there. You don't know him, but you can call out how he's feeling, right? Right. I mean, you know, oh, I had a That's So Raven moment, right? I had one of them woohoo moments. I just, you know, all of a sudden it came to me how he feels. What the hell?
I don't know. I don't.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we can only speculate. We're not these people. We just go by what we see.
I agree with that, Patty.
Okay, so Rita, I don't see that happening. I don't see Fred being able to haul a car with her in it.
Right, just chilling, right? Exactly. And look how Andy's trying. Look how Andy's trying to cover for all of them. He's trying to cover for Don. Oh, he's just so, you know, beside himself. Fred, well, how could Fred do this and that? I'm going to tell you, Andy, those scrapyards don't check a damn thing, especially when you're a fucking regular there. When you're a regular and they know you and you're coming in with shit all the time, they ain't be checking shit. Don't even go there.
And them not find it because they look at those cars pretty good. When you bring them in, they look, make sure they don't have no gas, no oil, no this, no that. I mean, I don't see them, and they don't let you pack the cars full of shit no more. Like extra scrap metal and stuff like that. So no, I don't see him being able.
No, but they cannot keep you. They cannot keep you from hiding a child up under a back seat, right? A seat that you scrapped out and hollowed out and to put something up underneath. And there's other places. There's other places like where the spare tire goes. There's all kinds of places. Um, you could fit a 5-year-old, right? A lot of places in a vehicle you could fit a 5-year-old. Absolutely.
To roll in and
Oh boy.
just drop her off in one of them old junk cars. And supposedly he says that they never hauled no cars to the junk that day. He says
The reason he didn't haul any cars to the junk is because you were on the road meeting up with a big truck and meeting up with a car and meeting up with people to the point that you were, detaining him from being able to do what he needed to do as far as, load up his vehicles and take them out of the road that day. Now, if he wasn't hauling no cars that day, Andy, then you must have been on the road. I mean, if he's telling the truth about hauling no cars, you must have been on the road. I mean, the guy did say allegedly you were at work. He said to the best of his knowledge. To the best of his knowledge, that means, the best I can remember. I don't know, kind of like, to the best of your knowledge, you were driving this vehicle or that one, but you don't know. So they're basically saying that, well, to the best of my knowledge, Andy was at work. I mean, I believe you were. With Jodie Sue's car for the extra protection, like Don Wells was at work with his. Oh, yes, I absolutely believe you were. But Laura says that they were hauling cars, and Fred said they were hauling cars up until this car started to get some attention, and somebody might want law enforcement to go looking for it, which they're going to be doing. They're going to be doing that, I'm sure. This car will be looked into.
Fred says.
Right. We can just go by what people say. All right.
I was at work. I mean, me personally, I would not have nothing to do with that.
Shy asks, Andy, did you see Candace and how she was acting all messed up? And was she messed up? Sorry. According to you.
I mean, look, I ain't gonna lie. Most times when I seen Candace, she was drinking.
Nothing wrong with drinking.
I mean,
if you can handle it.
they smoked weed. I mean, I sold them weed. They smoked weed. So, I mean, most of the time that I know of, that I ever seen any of them, they was either smoking weed or drinking.
Y'all hear him now, right? You guys can hear Andy? Basically, did you see her acting?
I mean, I didn't see Candace acting no different than any other time. I mean, she was always drinking. They was always drinking, smoking. I mean, I never seen them smoking no meth. I never seen them smoking no crack. Nothing like that. I mean, they bought a little bit of weed off me every week for a little bit. I cut them off for a little bit. I mean, you know where it goes.
Come on, be honest, bro. How much you have to front him? Did you have to front him anytime? Like, come on.
No.
Was Don like, come on, bro? Let me.
No, the most they ever bought was like a half ounce, something like that. And they paid cash. They had money. I mean, I always wondered why they lived like they did, but it seems like if he blew the van up one time or the Suburban or something, and they put a new motor in it.
Right.
I mean, I couldn't. I couldn't blow something.
That ain't cheap.
I mean, I couldn't blow something up and then them just put a motor in it and go on. No, I mean
So the Wells had money, right? The Wells had money. Obviously these people, you know, don't have much money or acting like they don't have much money. To be honest with you, if Andy was actually dealing, if he was actually dealing, selling, he was making bank, baby. Because dealers make a lot more than a drywaller, right? Freaking dealers make a lot more than a drywaller.
He did drywall. Drywall people make good money, but I just don't see the whole drug debt type situation. That's not how I see that playing out.
Right. Texas lady, Andy, do you think Summer was in the area? Would she have been found by now? If she was in the area, would she be found by now?
Oh, this is what I find real suspicious, you guys. This is what I find real suspicious right here. Because Summer lived at 110 Ben Hill Road, right? She lived over at 110. And if she'd have wandered off, on the 110 property, which, Don and Candace, Donald actually, has a lot of acreage over there, right? He has a lot of land over there. And that's where, where they would be looking for. And listen to Andy. Listen to what Andy says. He says if she would have been on 125. Why would she be on 125? That's across the road. That's across the street on his place. Why would she be on 125 if she wandered off on 110, right? If she would have wandered off, we know she didn't. I mean, they'd have found her if she had. And even Pruitt said it. Pruitt said, we went back, we did this deep dive search, and we just believe if she would have wandered off, we'd have found her, right? We'd have found her, is what he said. So, with that being said, abduction, no signs of an abduction whatsoever. There's no evidence or signs of an abduction, according to, Ronnie Lawson. And Pruitt talked about the wandering off, and, if she had, they're pretty sure they'd have found her. So these two things are gone. They're gone. The only thing left is foul play, right? Foul play. But listen to what Andy says.
If she was in the woods around 125.
Around 125. That's over across the road. That would be on his property. That would be on his property. What the hell is he talking about? Why would you place her over there on June 15th, 2021? Why would you place her on your property? That just sounds suspicious as hell, right?
After and could have been found, yes, I think she would have been found.
All right, and feel free to
What? She lived at 110. What the hell would she be doing at 125? I mean, there's something weird about that. There's something weird about him placing her at 125. There's something weird about him placing her at his place. That don't sound right. That's weird.
take your time with this, or maybe you already have thought about this, but Unicorn wants to know your best theory on what happened.
Cover up or accident cover up?
Ooh.
Cover up or accident cover up? Cover up or accident cover up? Now, he's going to go on. Listen, he's going to go on to explain to you guys what I've been saying. Cover up for something sinister. They needed to do what they did to keep from going to prison. That's my opinion. They needed to do what they did to keep from going to prison for some sinister reason. Something was wrong that they felt couldn't be corrected. Could not be corrected unless without them, being charged and going to jail. So listen to what he says, because everything he says falls in line. An accident cover up and doesn't fall in line with what he goes on and continues to say. But cover up does. Cover up does of some sinister shit, that they couldn't get fixed.
What do you mean?
Maybe something happened. Somebody got scared and had to do something, or they were scared of consequences. And I mean, I don't know.
Maybe someone done something and they were scared, done something like sedate little girls to be touched, maybe showering up and sleeping with little girls, either self, that kind of get worried, get scared when a problem comes up and you can't fix it without going to prison. That kind of cover up right there. Yeah. That's what he's explaining. That's what he's explaining right there. Not like, somebody accidentally, got upset and swatted the child a little too hard and, oh my goodness, no. Listen to the way he says it.
All right, and feel free to take your time with this, or maybe you already have thought about this, but Unicorn wants to know your best theory on what happened.
Cover up or accident cover up.
Ooh. What do you mean?
And remember, he put cover up first. This is what leads me to believe that Andy Bernard knows exactly what went down on 110 Ben Hill Road. It makes me believe it.
Maybe something happened. Somebody got scared and
maybe something happened. Yeah. A whole lot was happening. That that they should have been scared not to ever have done. They should have been scared not to ever have done it in the first place, right? But they did.
And had to do something. Or they were scared of consequences and
of prison, of going to prison for life. Oh yeah, absolutely. We know that they was worried about that when they cut all of her hair off, right? When they shaved her bald, cut all of her hair off in order to, they thought that, that was the way that they wouldn't be able to test her for, the sedation, right? For the sedating that she was going through, right, Andy? That was the way that, they felt that, oh, this, because whatever happened and whatever was going down, they knew they couldn't fix it. And that's, they needed to cut all of her hair off. And then they needed to let it grow back somewhat, right? Somewhat, give it some time before they before they finished carrying out all the plans. Actually, it took about 9 weeks. About 9 weeks from the time they cut her hair to her disappearance. Her missing was around 9 weeks exactly. Right? And Don Wells was holding her. He was holding her, telling her how sorry he was. I love you, Summer. I'm sorry. 18 days later, she was missing, just like he said he knew she was going to be missing. Oh, she was 18 days later when he started driving a different vehicle to cover his ass and fired his coworker to blame it on, right? How quaint.
I mean, I don't know. I have no clue.
I don't know. I have no clue. Sounds like you had a lot of clues there. Sounds like you had a whole lot of clues, Andy Bernard. It sounds like you had a whole lot of them because, you sure seem to be giving them. And from what Jodie Sue said, you pretty much have been saying that the whales, the whales are all responsible for what went down June 15, 2021 from day one. You've been saying they're all responsible. Nobody but them's responsible. And it's true. I agree with that. I agree with that. They were the parents. They were supposed to protect their daughter, and they didn't. And they didn't. They did, and they allowed, in my opinion, everything that was happening to happen to the point that this had to happen. Absolutely. I agree with you. In my opinion, that's true. Now, there's something else I'd like to call out. Something else I'd like to call out tonight. Mr. Dobbs. Now, on June the 14th, 2021, the night before Summer went missing, Andy Bernard, Jodie Sue, Don Wells, Candace Grandis, all the kids were down on the road after law enforcement chased Mr. Dobbs away. They were all running all over the place. They were down there hanging out on the road at the bottom of the hill. All of them. Once it started to get dark, Jodie Sue, Andy, and Don and Candace, they go looking for Mr. Dobbs. Grandma takes the kids back up on the hill. The older boy takes the daughter up on the hill, and these guys go looking for Mr. Dobbs. Why did they go looking for Mr. Dobbs? They went looking for him at all the hotels that they, if they would have found Mr. Dobbs, if they would have found him, right? If they would have found him. My question is, would some of the stuff out of this good old box, been found around or in the truck of Mr. Dobbs? Could some of this stuff right here have been found? And could an innocent man possibly be in prison right now and all of us thinking the Summers case is solved? Could that have happened? Is that what their plan was? Is to put some of this stuff that they told law enforcement Summer was wearing? Was their plan to plant that stuff in or around where Mr. Dobbs was? Put a 1 in the chat if you think it could have been. I think it could have been. Yes. I think that's a hell of a good possibility. I think it's a hell of a good possibility. And with Jodie Sue making up the scream and Candace asking her to move it because it was an hour too soon and it needed to be an hour later, I think it is a damn good possibility. Because you know what that all tells, and Jodie Sue thinking she's entitled to half the money Candace is getting, that tells me that Andy and Jodie Sue pretty much knew exactly what happened to Summer. That's what it tells me. That's my opinion. I'm going to keep it. But that's what it tells me. I don't know. I don't think they were the ones that, caused Summer to come up missing. I think that was Candace, Don, and Grandis. And, in my opinion, like I said, I don't think Summer was alive on the milk jugs. I don't believe it. Grandis got dropped off on the hill, and Candace was busted down at Fred's house right after Fred and Laura pulled out, and there was no Summer in the vehicle. So, I pretty much, in my opinion, I think we pretty much, know exactly how it went down on June the 15th, 2021. Now, proving it is a whole different story. To prove it is a whole different story. And I don't think we know any more than what law enforcement does. I think law enforcement knows everything we do. I think they expect everything we do. That's my opinion also. I believe law enforcement, suspects exactly what we're saying. And they're just trying to figure out how to prove it. How do you prove it? Right? Right. That's true. That's true, Lockdown. That's true. They just think, yeah. Yeah. They think, they think YouTube's got this bad at reputation but law enforcement does listen to YouTube. Trust and believe law enforcement listens to YouTubers because YouTubers get a lot of damn good information. They get more information than law enforcement out of these suspects, right? We get more information from suspects than law enforcement does. These suspects come out here and run their mouths more than they run to law enforcement. So, of course, law enforcement's going to listen to YouTubers. Absolutely. Absolutely. No, Danny. No big fights broke out the night before. Absolutely not. They were all running around. The kids were running around down on the road. They were all down there, just partying. They were just partying down there and hanging out until it got dark. And that's when they went looking for Mr. Dobbs. There was no types of any, violence or anything like that. Absolutely not. No. Grandis took the children back up on the hill and took them back up on the hill after, when they were leaving. She took the kids up and watched them, the 4 children. And the oldest boy and his sister went up on to Andy's and Jodie Sue's property. Only the 4 of them went looking for Dobbs. And I wouldn't doubt if they didn't have some of this clothing right here. I would not doubt if they didn't have some of this clothing right here that would have been found somewhere around Dobbs. That's my guess. That's my guess is why they were looking for him. Andy would never tell us why they were out looking for him. He pleaded the 5th on why they was looking for Dobbs. So it had to be for a sinister reason, right? Because you wouldn't mind telling someone if it wasn't for a sinister reason, right? Just saying. But yeah, I mean, that's what what I believe. That's what I believe. And also, it doesn't help when Jodie Sue says things like this.
Where'd all the dope you hauled in your car?
I didn't have my car that day, Don. The abuser.
No, I'm talking about the day you come up to my house and you showed us all that dope you had.
I didn't have dope, Don. I do not do dope.
Okay.
I don't have any of that fucking shit. And the day Summer,
Okay.
I didn't have a car either. Yeah, okay, Don.
She said, I did not have a car that day, Donald, meaning Andy took her vehicle because it had GPS. Donald and Andy made sure that they both drove vehicles that would place them where they needed to be at work. That's my opinion.
You even know what was happening while you were at work most of the time and all the traffic at your house?
Oh, I was at work all the time. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Hey, guess what? That, alibis work or not, you're still the motherfucker they've been calling guilty since day one, so congrats,
No,
bro.
that's what you do. That's what you do. People like you.
That's what I
Straight
heard.
bitch. Straight bitch. That's
Oh
what
my
you
gosh.
do. People like you.
It's going to wound me to my soul that Don Wells called me a bitch. Oh, dear.
Look at all the dope.
There you go. There you go. And during this particular, this is just a clip. This is just a clip from this particular conversation between Jodie Sue and Don Wells. But in this conversation, Jodie Sue also tells Don Wells, all about what he was doing to his daughter and some other bad things as well. If you've been here, if you've been with this channel a long time, you was here when Jodie Sue and Don Wells went at each other on my panel. I dropped and let him go. Jodie Sue came up, said, let me talk to him. I dropped so they could have their conversation back and forth. And Jodie Sue told Don Wells, exactly that he was, abusing that child and and she really just put it out there, what he was doing. If you remember that conversation, that particular live, put a 1 in the chat, because during that live, she told him that he was, doing bad things to that 5-year-old and sleeping with her and showering with her, and she really gave it to him. She really gave it to him and told him all about it. And yes, she did. I mean, she just brought it out on him. Yeah, she did. She said, stop it, Daddy. Stop it, Daddy. Right? Yes, she did. Yes, she did. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm telling you, these people knew. These people knew. Yeah, they did.
Called in your car.
I didn't have my car that day, Don.
There you go. I didn't have my car that day, Don. Andy was driving her car. Right? Boom. We know what he was driving now. We know what he was driving. Yes, it was her car. It was in his name. Did you notice in the chat tonight how Andy beat it around the bush when he was asked if it was his car or Jodie Sue's? Did you notice how he beat around the bush to say it was in my name, the loan's in my name? Like he didn't want to confess that, yeah, I took Jodie Sue's car to work that day that had GPS. Did you notice that he was beating around the bush? You know why he did that? Because Don Wells has done been called out for driving the car to protect his ass with Starlink. And Andy knew that if he all of a sudden changed up to Jodie Sue's car, this got GPS, then, we're going to catch on. We're going to catch on to him just like we did Don Wells, right? The extra layer protection. They both corresponded and took the extra layer of protection from the vehicles and their phones, which gave them double protection. Only problem is they doubled up. So they were corresponding. And two people shouldn't do the same dumb shit. At least one of them should have just stayed with what their regular every day. If you don't want to get busted, Do your every day, right? Don't change up nothing, because changing up lets law enforcement know that your ass is behind something there. And puts all suspicion on you. Because people just don't change up. They don't just change up from their daily routines, right? They don't start sticking their pants over their fucking head, right? Instead of over their backside. That's what I'm saying. Oh, right. He is flapping. Oh, shit. Right? Lockdown, you're not blocked, honey. You're right there on the screen. We can see you. You're not blocked. Please unblock me. You're not blocked. Absolutely. That's right, Molly. That's right. Exactly. That's absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, okay. Okay. I see. Right? Justice for you, right? You know, um I know exactly what Andy was driving June 15th, 2021. I know exactly what he was, what ride he was riding with. Right there. Right there is what he was right there is what he was driving. Right? Right there. Big turkey. Big old turkey. Big turkey Fred. 2021, it was Turkey Fred, baby. It wasn't no Tom Turkey, it was Fred Turkey. Andy was taking a ride on it. That's all I could say.
I mean, I just don't think she. I think if she would have wandered off, they would have found her within the first little bit. If animals would have got a hold of her, I
That would have
think
been
they would have
good.
found a mess. They would have found a mess within a few days.
Did any of the Wells kids ever come to your house, Andy, and hang out? Or just come up there at any point in time?
No, I mean, like they would come over with their mom. Well, really, Candace never came.
Hi, did you hear him slip? Did you hear him slip? Listen to this right here. Right here.
Come over with their mom. Well,
Hi, they come over with their mom. They would come over with their mom, Andy. You slipped it up right here. You slipped it
And
up.
hang out? Or just come up there at any point in time?
no, I mean, like they would come over with their mom. Well,
Right? They came over with their mom. There you go. So that shows us, Jodie Sue said he was giving stuff to Candace. He said that he was giving stuff to Candace. And there you go. There you go. They were coming over with their mom. There you go. Right? That tells you all you need to know. Right there. And as far as Fred Hill goes, Fred Hill is losing sleep. Trust me, he's losing sleep over the freaking junkyard, right? He's losing sleep over that junkyard. He knows that, we got our sights set on that vehicle. The last vehicle, the one he towed on June the 15th or right after June the 15th, right? We got our sights set on it. And, law enforcement is going to go in there and they're going to ask for them to show that vehicle. They're going to tell, the junkyard, we want to see the vehicle that Fred Hill scrapped on June 15th. Now, if Fred really didn't make it to the junkyard and he took that vehicle to put it somewhere else for a while, right? For some reason. And then he picked it back up and took it maybe a day or two or a week later to the junkyard. Well, law enforcement's going to be all over those vehicles, right? They're going to be all over it. Anything right there, June 15th and after, the first vehicle he tows after this, they're going to be all over it. Absolutely they are. And he's worried. He's worried about it. Trust me. I know he's worried because he had himself in here. Right? And, I know old Fred is losing sleep. He's worried that the feds are going to go out there and take a little look-see. And they're probably going to take search dogs, right? They'll probably take search dogs out there to see, because, cadaver dogs can, they might not know it's summer, but they'll know that it's somebody deceased has been in that vehicle. And that stuff stays in there for years and years and years. You can't get the smell of that out. I mean, that smell is going to be in a vehicle like freaking eternity, right? It's going to be in there for a long time. And if the search dog, well, not search, but the cadaver dogs hit on that in that vehicle, especially if they rip the seats up out of there, if they go through this thing and they find anything, something, a blonde hair that belonging to, looks like it belongs to Summer Wells, and they test it against her brothers, well, Fred's going to be probably pulled out of Indiana and back into Tennessee. Right? Absolutely. And I'll tell you, what they'll do is they'll take it in for forensics. They'll just take it in. And they'll check it from bumper to bumper. And this case may be solved. It might get solved just by them going out to that junkyard, checking out that vehicle. Because, Fred is really skittish right now. He's really skittish about that vehicle. Absolutely. And, Don and Candace didn't have anything. If they didn't have anything to do with June 15, 2021, why ain't they on the phone demanding TBI and the feds to get out there and check this vehicle because of the way Fred Hill's acting right now? Why? I mean, if I was the parent of a missing child and I really didn't know what happened, I'd be wanting Fred Hill's vehicle looked over from bumper to bumper. I would want them to get out to that scrapyard ASAP with the way Fred's acting right now and take a damn look at it. And I wouldn't quit until they did. I would even be calling the news saying, look, this guy is really acting weird. He's acting really skittish because of this YouTuber talking about this particular vehicle that he's supposed to towed around this time. My daughter came up missing, and I can't seem to get law enforcement out there to check it. As if they don't care. about my daughter missing. Like they don't care if they solve her case. And you know, this could do it. And they need to be out there doing it. And they have a tip on it. They have the parents themselves calling, right? They have us, the parents, calling ourselves, wanting it done. And they're not doing it. And they need to get it done. Why ain't Candace and Don Wells doing this? Why ain't they pushing for that vehicle to be gone through? Why are they not doing it? Because they already know. They already know. Candace already knows that, she got caught down at Fred's. She already knows what they're going to find. That's why they're not doing it. Just saying. Just saying. I don't know, because I sure would be doing it. I'm sure Michael Vaughn's mother would have been doing it. I'm sure if, one of those people surrounding that case had scrapped a car around that time and she heard about it, and this person's being skittish, being weird, acts like they can't rest. They can't rest because of it. Right? They go running into this YouTuber's chat, saying all kinds of stuff. I would want that car checked. And I'm sure Michael Vaughn's mother would be like, you get yourselves out there and you look at it. And I'm sure the Fruitland police would. I'm sure they'd be out there. They'd be all over it. Nobody would have to fight. Nobody would have to call the news. They'd just be out there looking. For some reason, TBI and them have to be pushed. You have to get the news on it and everything else to get something done. But I tell you what, if Brandy had to get the news, she would. If she had a tip like this, she would push it. She'd push the ticket to get it done. Right? Because they're supposed to follow all leads and all tips. Well, this is one, right? This is one. The way Fred's acting right now, this is a tip. And it needs to be checked. Just saying. Right? I'm just saying. So, somebody needs to ask Don and Candace why their asses ain't pushing the ticket. Right? Why are you not pushing the ticket, Don? Why are you not pushing the ticket, Candace? Why? Because if they take in Fred, they might be taking in you guys? Is that why? I think that's the reason. In my opinion, that's exactly the reason. Right? That's my opinion. Just saying, you guys. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh yeah, little Dave. You know what? I agree with you. I believe that Fruitland has solved Michael's case. I think I think they know exactly pretty much what happened. They just are having trouble proving it, without finding Michael. And I think the same thing is with Summer's case. I truly believe Hawkins County has done pretty much solved it. They like with Michael, their hands are tied. Their hands are tied because they haven't got Summer. They don't have Summer and their hands are tied right now. But I think if they go out to that junkyard, they may find exactly what they're looking for to be able to prosecute Summer's case. That's what I'm thinking. And it's worth a shot. It's worth the shot, right? Leave no stones unturned. I mean, they went out there and pulled up a bunch of fucking rocks out of a freaking some water for Ryan, whatever it is, had them out there separating a rock family, right? So why can't they go look at that vehicle? I'm sure it'd be a lot easier to go look bumper to, from bumper to bumper on that vehicle than it was to go get in the damn water and pull up a whole rock family, right? It would be less strenuous to go out there and do that. They just, the issue just needs to be pushed. The issue needs to be pushed. The ticket needs to be pushed. Right? Maybe somebody else needs to call the news station down there and have the news station go ask the Wells why they're not pushing the ticket for this Fred Hill guy's vehicle to be checked bumper to bumper in their daughter's disappearance. Right? Maybe someone else needs to contact the news. And put a little pressure on the Wells as to why they're not pushing this ticket themselves. That's what I'd like to know. I mean, put a 1 in the chat if you think they should be out there checking that vehicle. I truly believe they should. That's my opinion. I'm going to keep it. And I'm going to keep, I'm going to keep asking why this ain't being done. I'm going to keep doing what I can to get it done. Right? Exactly. It needs to be checked. Yes. That vehicle's there, girl. From what the people there have explained, they said that those vehicles can be there for 10, 15, 20 years. They got vehicles out there that's been there for 15, 20 years. It takes a long time. It takes a long time before they crush any of those vehicles. I mean, they're out there for years and years and years. I doubt if that vehicle's been crushed yet. It's probably out there. It's probably out there on some of that acreage, right? And they have to go. What they do is when law enforcement goes out there or the feds, what happens is, they go back in the back where the paperwork's at. And they find, the vehicles that came in around June 15th from Fred Hill. And then they go, they look in the computer for the VIN number and where this vehicle is at on their land. Where, what area it was put in, what kind of vehicle it was, what area it went into. And then the law enforcement just goes out to that area, finds that particular vehicle, and they go bumper to bumper to it. I mean, it's not really that big of an issue. They closed at 2:00 today. 2:00 today they closed. During the week is 4:00. Yes. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That vehicle's still out there. Do you know how many vehicles they've got? How many vehicles they've got piled up out there? I showed pictures. I showed all the pictures of how many vehicles they had out there. I showed how many pictures they had out there. On Thursday night, I showed you guys the scrap yard. I showed you the pictures from that particular scrap yard, that junkyard. They have, I mean, tons and tons and tons, like acres of freaking vehicles out there. And you know, they take the VIN numbers and and that's how they keep up with what area this particular vehicle's in. It's not, if I had the VIN number to that particular vehicle, I could have went out there and looked through it myself. If you can give them the VIN number, then they can tell you where to locate it, and you could go out there. But without the VIN number, only law enforcement is allowed to do it by name, and so forth. That's what I'm saying. Because it's not your vehicle. It's not your vehicle. So, they lied. Fred and Ziggy lied about being able to call them up and ask them about, the vehicle and everything. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. There's the link. Exactly, Denny. And some of these vehicles still sit there for, because they don't make their money. They don't make their money off of crushing vehicles. They make their money off the parts and everything. And, and like it could be years and years and years before they get around to crushing them. Even when they're ready to crush, it could be many years. So it's still sitting out there, probably with the seats in it and all the stuff. And, I'm sure it's just sitting there. And I think he's worried it's still sitting there too. Okay, girl, I'm bringing you up. Don't bother to open the camera.
Okay. I don't think I did.
Okay. You good?
If I did, oh well. Yep, I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I sure can, girl.
All right. Yeah. All of them around that Bent Hill knows what happened this summer. Even the night they partied. That's my opinion. I'm sticking to it, and something's just not right. Andy ran off real fast. I tried to get him to come over. He wouldn't come over.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
And it's like my husband was saying, like when he got hit head on, the insurance company buys the cars and they keep porting them out until the parts are gone. Then they crush them. It takes years.
Yeah, it does. It takes a long, long time. And, and if you notice, Fred is real skittish, right? He's real skittish right now about this vehicle. I mean, yes, you could tell he's worried. You could tell he's nervous, right? He's nervous.
Yes.
I mean,
not only that, at his property, he had plenty of places to bury cars.
Yeah. But I think it's at the junkyard. I really do.
I do too. I do too.
I think it's at the junkyard, and I think he's really worried, And with Chad Arnold coming in, Candace wouldn't have had time. With Fred and Laura just pulling out, and like Chad said, she didn't go up to the door to see if Laura was home. So that means she must have saw them, or she would have been at the door. She wouldn't have known, she wouldn't have knew if Laura's there or not. So she'd have went to the door to see. And why would she not go to the door? Because she already seen Fred and Laura and know Laura wasn't there as well.
That's
like
right.
Chad said, he just walked off and he said, well, Fred's not here because his vehicle ain't. And she just walked off and got back into her vehicle after telling him, well, my daughter's missing And and he started thinking when he heard all of this coming out, he started thinking, wait a minute, law enforcement didn't show up till 6:30. They didn't report her missing until 6:30. Um, she's on the phone with Dawn at 6:09. So she only had been missing a few minutes from what Candace says when she calls Dawn. So that means that she would have been missing around 5:55, 6:05. And here she is down there around the more of the 4 o'clock mark, at Fred's house, right about the time they're pulling out. I come in and catch, I'm trying to catch Fred, but I catch Candace instead, sitting there.
Right.
He tells me the kid's already missing. Well, how? It ain't even 4:30 yet, and this kid isn't reported missing for over 2 hours later at 6:30. What's going on?
Yep. They tried to get their story straight, all of them, and they couldn't.
Exactly. That's my opinion too.
And did they take Andy's phone, get it checked? Did they check the GPS?
No.
Did it
No.
have GPS?
No.
Maybe it needs reported to get checked.
They did not check. They did not check into Jodie Sue and Andy. They did not check into Fred Hill until recently. When Cotton came up, on live, and his family stepped in. Then they started asking questions about not just Cotton but Summer as well, because the family let law enforcement know that Cotton told them that he saw Summers, in a box on Fred's property. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that one. Yes. I've been here from day 2. I missed the first day of it, but I've been here since the second day, since Summer came up missing, almost 4 years. And it's just like unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal.
This is a case that, people all around the world are invested in. This is a case that people all around the world are sending prayers up every day for this little girl to be found. This is a case that, has just went on too long, and the people feel that law
answers and want to know.
Well, we feel that law enforcement hasn't done all they could do to really solve this case as well. And we the people want something done in all of this. We know if we're seeing it, if we're seeing everything, then law enforcement's seeing it too, and they need to act on it. They don't want us. They don't want we the people acting on it. So they need to act on it, because they say, "Hey, don't you act on it? We'll act on it." Well, go out there and act on it.
Yeah, don't say you're going to do it and listen to us on lives and chats. Don't do that. Go out there and do something.
Exactly. Solve this little girl's case. Ronnie Lawson promised to solve this little girl's case. Pruitt promised to solve this little girl's case. And I truly believe they could, if they just go out to that scrapyard. If they just go to that scrapyard and find that vehicle, I think that's the answer to solving it, if you ask me.
Yep. And everybody, all of them needs in jail for lying for each other.
Exactly.
It made me mad a few minutes ago. Like I told my husband, I seen Andy, and I didn't do it. You're lying. This one's lying. Then why'd you take off? Liars hide.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm going to tell you something. We the people means we the taxpayers, and we the taxpayers are the ones that keep law enforcement in business. And, and we keep them in business to solve crimes, right? To solve cases so that evil can be taken off the streets. We
That's
pay,
what I don't understand.
Our taxes pay, right? Our taxes pay for these people to, to do their freaking job and make our lives safer by getting evilness out of here, right? And into the prisons.
Yes.
That's
like I told
what
my
we're talking
husband too. Sorry for interrupting you. I told my husband, I said, like that little Leah Lunsford that came up missing. Her mom's in prison, Lena Lunsford. Nobody. They still ain't found that little girl. And her
Right.
mom hit her in the head with a 2x4. Her daughters told on her after they got old enough, got adopted out by Christian people. But
Right.
even with nobody, why is nobody in jail?
Exactly.
And then Kathy, right, and Kathy, the friend, held all that evidence of Summers.
And she should have something should have been done with her too, for for
Yes.
tampering with the evidence, and and
Yes.
withholding information and all kinds of stuff. I mean, she like totally done so many things, that were, but also I'm pretty sure that was her in that picture out
With the
there.
mask on.
Yeah, out there in the
Yes.
middle of fucking nowhere. I'm going to tell you, I think that they are into some type of freaking occult, if you ask me.
Cold.
I think these
Yep.
people are a fucking occult.
Yep.
I really
And
do.
where'd she go? You know what I mean? Where did Kathy just
And
go all of a
and
sudden off of YouTube?
and look what Fred went to. Look what look what Fred, is with now. I mean,
Yes.
what I'm saying is somebody a human that ain't into this weird shit like that ain't going to be hooking up with someone that is.
Right.
You know?
Something's not right. Yes. Something's not
Exactly.
right there.
I mean, the normal person would run from that shit. I mean, they're like,
Yes.
I'm not marrying up no fucking,
Suspect.
no weirdo that's flipping the devil's cards and, playing with freaking Satan stuff.
No.
Hell no, I couldn't lay down and sleep around somebody like that, right?
I couldn't either. Could not.
I mean, you gotta take your witchy ass self and go somewhere else.
Yes. Take
You gotta
them cards and everything and get. Yes.
you gotta, you be rebuking that stuff in the name of Jesus. Like, get gone, devil. Don't come around me.
Yes.
I ain't got time for it.
I just
But
don't understand this case. It's aggravating. It is. It breaks your heart, and it's like they all know because they partied the night before. All of them. Then some
yeah,
of
they
them try
did.
to laugh. I wasn't up there. I wasn't there. Yeah, you was.
And Andy was at Andy Bernard was at Don Wells' house the night before Don went
Yes.
to jail. He was leaving.
And Jody
I
told
heard
on him
him. He was
too.
leaving, and Don told me. Don said it's Andy, but he's getting ready. I said, "Oh well, I'll hang up." He said, "No, he's getting ready to leave anyway." And I heard him
Right.
say, telling him goodbye and all these things, before he went out the door. So, why
Right.
he's fucking lying, I don't know.
Did I lose you?
No, I was just getting a
Hello.
drink of my
Okay, I
cold
hear
one.
you now. Sorry.
I was getting a drink of my cold
There
one,
you
girl.
go.
That
Oh,
Day
that
so
tastes
jealous
good.
of. Hey, yeah,
Poor
Day
Candace
Day.
don't get no cold one. Poor thing.
I tell you what, there ain't gonna be none of them getting no cold ones. If they go where I'm
That's
thinking
me.
they might end up. They ain't gonna get no cold ones ever again.
They're going to hell.
I tell you,
Yep, they're going to hell.
it might be best, if you want to save your. I don't understand people. I don't understand humans. I don't understand why, these humans don't want to, worship God instead of Satan. I don't know why these humans don't, understand that hell is hot and it's going to be an awful, stinched up place to be for eternity. When they hear those doors shut.
Yep.
And they're forgotten and ain't going to ever be remembered anymore. Oh my gosh. I mean,
Right.
reality's going to set in that you should have been a better person while you was here. If they could come back and make everything right, they would. I mean, they would
Yes.
make everything right. What I'm saying is if they couldn't come back and keep what happened from happening, and they couldn't come back and change what happened, they would at least if they could, if they popped up after the fact, it's everything's already done. Well, I'll tell you what, they sure be telling everything so that God can forgive them and the truth could be put out here into the world from their mouth, and they could save their freaking dirty souls, you know. But
Yes,
you're not.
take that bread and that wine and take it. It's the best.
I'm going to tell you right now, man. If I had any information whatsoever on a case like this, I'd be sitting at the freaking. I'd be sitting
Front
at the
doors.
law office. I would have done told.
Yes,
I'd have
and
been
why is
set.
Yeah.
You
Why
know,
is Candace and Dawn not telling, going to the police station every day? Where's my daughter? Go find her. I'm looking. You're not stopping me. Nobody would stop me.
I'm going to tell you something. There's a lot of people that just knew the Wells. There's a lot of people that just knew them. And they were
I
calling,
looked up some of it. Yeah.
they were calling law enforcement saying, I mean, some of these people just knew the Wells and some of the things they were up there doing. And their conscience was so bad that they was calling law enforcement saying, hey, I don't know what happened with this little girl, but I do know these people, and I do know this, and this about these people, and they were,
Right.
they was letting out everything they knew, because you know what? They did not want their souls, burning in Hades for
Burn in
not giving
hell.
law
Yep.
enforcement the freaking information that they did have. I mean, they had no idea about June 15th.
Right.
They did have prior information that, that they were just like spewing out something fierce to try to help this child, because they couldn't rest until they did. And,
Right.
and that's most people. Most people, that's how they are, their conscience, they got a conscience, and that conscience will not let them rest. But Andy,
No, it will not.
the only I could tell the rest that Andy's getting is because he chooses to act like, I had nothing to do with it. I had nothing to do with any of this. This is, that kid belonged to Don and Candace and Grant and that lady up there, and what they were doing and allowing to be done, isn't my business, has nothing to do with me. If they wasn't getting the stuff from someone else to sedate, if they wasn't getting it from me, they'd have been getting it from someone else. He's
Right.
making himself feel better with a bunch of excuses, in my opinion. I just think that,
Yes.
he knows, and he's using excuses to make himself feel better about the whole situation, to just, keep himself safe. And, that
Well,
ain't
it's
the
not
way
going
to
to keep him
be.
safe.
No,
No, it's not going to keep him safe.
he should, even if you call up anonymously, even if you make an anonymous phone call, I mean, I don't know if they still have those boxes with what are they, those boxes that
IDs.
have phones in them, hanging places. I don't know,
Right.
but
Oh, phone booth. Yes.
the things you put a quarter in.
Yep.
I don't know if they still have those or they don't, but I'm sure
Not around
that,
here.
well, in Tennessee, the way that place is like 100 years behind everybody else, it might have.
Right.
And, and all of these people, Andy's supposed to, been a dealer, from what he says. He sold this
Right.
stuff. So if he, he's got
And
to
that
have a
damn
third.
weed didn't burn his head out that bad.
He
Right.
has to know, if you're doing that stuff, you have to have throwdown phones and everything. Call from one of them. And
Yep.
say, hey, they was, doing this. And, I just want to get this off my conscience, because I know it's for a fact. You got the information now. Do what you need to do with it. Click and get rid of the phone,
Yeah.
and,
Yes.
and at least give this little girl a chance to be found. Give this little girl a chance for the truth to be told. Give this little 5-year-old child some damn mercy. And I'm going to tell you what the Bible says. It says that you have to have mercy in order to obtain mercy. If you don't have mercy, you will not be obtaining none. So, these people better
Right.
think about that. If they're not going to have no
Yes.
mercy on this little 5-year-old girl that needs to be found and has every right to be laid to rest properly, and for her brothers to be able to live a normal life, then they're not going to get no mercy.
Right.
That's
And then
just
like
the
when
way it
Don
is.
did
And
that
that ain't
interview with his little boy, you know, he's like, oh,
right.
nobody will find her. We'll see her in the resurrection. No, you know what you did. You all did.
Don
All of them
Wells,
did.
Don Wells has a shit-eating fucking grin on his face, like he done such a good job planning and carrying all that shit out. And it makes you almost, it makes you fucking sick to look at him, the way he's so proud
Yes.
of his little dirty low-life scum of the freaking earth self, right? It's
Makes you
sickening
very
the
ill.
fuck out of
Yes.
you. And you know, and that is my opinion too, that he's just a low-life scum of the fucking earth. That is my opinion.
He is. Mine too. I don't know why they gotta hide. Just come off that hill and go to the police department and tell every day, hound them. Where's my kid? Where's Summer? I want her. You know, but they don't want them because they lost all of their kids.
They ain't going. Well, I tell you what, if put it this way, I know personally myself, I know, and I am sure law enforcement knows, and I'm pretty sure all of you guys out here know that Don and Candace ain't going to be going to law enforcement and asking about where their kids
No.
is. Because if they were the type of parents that would run to law enforcement, beating the door down, taking coffee and donuts every day, becoming law enforcement's best friend to find their child wouldn't be missing anyway. Because they would have loved their
No.
child, and they wouldn't have ever put their
Love her and
child
not be
in, they wouldn't have put their child in harm's way, and neglecting and abusing it the way that this child had been done.
yes.
It's just my opinion that Don and Candace and Candace, it's my opinion that all of them know exactly what happened to Summer. All of them.
They all
And
yes, they all do. And
that's my
Jodie Sue
opinion.
riddles so much I can't understand her at times. I'm like, okay, play in slow mode.
Right?
But she riddles the truth, I think. I really believe she riddles the truth, and she knows too. And
Right? Oh, I
she just
know
don't want
she
to go to
knows.
prison either.
I know she knows, and I'll tell you why, because me and Don Wells had it out over that scream. I said, why? He was on shares using it, and I said, why? I heard you last night using that scream. I said, and there is no way
Yep.
that there's no way. You said my neighbor heard a scream at the time Summer came out. I said, no, she couldn't have. I said, that scream does
No.
not fit the timeline, Dom. And he says, Sissy, yes, it does. And I said, no, Donald, it doesn't. I'm sorry to tell you, it doesn't. And he's like, yes, it does, Sissy. It does. And he's starting to get angry with me. And I said, look,
Right.
I said, either you give me 5 minutes to listen, or I can just hang up. I don't care. I said, but if you want to give me 5 minutes, I'll be glad to explain it to you. He said, okay, Sissy. And I said, listen, she didn't come up missing until between 5:55 to 6:05, Donald. You didn't get a phone call until 6:09, and she's supposed to just been missing for 15 minutes when you got a call. I said, and then
Right.
law enforcement ain't called until 6:30, Donald. I said, so listen, hon, there's no way that scream that happened at 4:40, and at this time Jodie Sue wasn't saying 4:30. Jodie Sue was saying
Right. She changed
at
it.
she was saying at 4:43 to 4:47. I said there's no way that she could have heard a scream of Summers at 4:43 to 4:47 due to the fact that around that time Summer would have still been out in the yard planting flowers, washing her hands, getting a piece of candy. She wouldn't even have been going back into the house that soon. I mean,
No.
Candace said I walked her over to the
Candace
house.
wanted them boys through off.
Right. She said I walked over to the house, hollered for one of the boys to watch her. I went back over within 2 minutes, I'm back and I'm in the house and Summer's gone. So Summer's supposed, and they're out looking for, around the 6 o'clock mark. So she would have, she would have had to come up missing around 5:55, between 5:55 and 6 o'clock. There's no way
Right.
at 4 something she'd have still been in the
She'd have
house
been
or
there.
outside plant. Yeah, she'd have still been there. No way it would have been her. And he's like, oh,
No.
damn, yeah. Yeah, that's
And you know
right.
that dog, Dawson, what's that guy's name that always came up there? David Dawson or whatever. You know,
Right.
Don liked dressing the boys like a girl. He loved it. He
Oh,
thought it was so cool dressing little boys like a kid, little girl.
one of the boys, yeah, we got a picture of it. Yeah,
Yes.
that's true.
And that's how sick his mind is. Yep. And I'm wondering
Mhm.
if David knows something. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, that's Summer lying for him because they all knew each other.
David Dawson bothered me because in the picture that he was, why would some single grown ass man be trying to get the attention of a little 4 or 5 year old girl in the church? I
In
mean,
the
this
church.
little girl sitting over
Yeah.
there with Robin, Robin's married. She's married. Everybody in the church
Right.
knows she's got a husband and a child. And, so why would he? And Summer's sitting there next to her, and Summer looks terrified with this guy trying to wave and get her attention. And even Summer's like, what the hell,
Yes. Like,
this
why do you
guy,
want
that
me
guy
over
was
here?
right. That guy was creepy. And he did have a
Yeah.
robe, a long black robe, and with the hood, and he was doing some weird. I got the receipts on that. I've got the video of it, which I'm going to get
I
and play out.
remember it. Yeah.
And
Yes.
and
When I
and,
jump
and it
down, I'll have to watch it.
right, and it corresponds. It corresponds with what this girl's saying, and the picture she's showing of them being out in this wooded area. Right now, I'm trying to get a hold of
Yes.
that, of that video. If anybody knows, where that video is, and can send it to
Molly
me.
Golightly still has it.
Molly has it, but Molly went out. Molly's channel is gone.
Oh.
All of her videos are gone.
I'll
So
have to message her and say, hey, send that to me.
right, I'm messaging the lady that actually put it out right now, and hopefully she's going to get back with me and send it to me. That's what I'm hoping. To
Good.
get
And
the
Molly, you get up on chat.
but I'm going to
Sorry
tell
for
you,
interrupting you, but Molly needs to get up there. She's
right,
always scared. And she's pretty. She needs to get up on that chat too.
ain't that the truth?
Yes, your
I
mom.
love Molly. I really
Yeah.
did. I was so sad to see her go. She went through so much for Summer's case. And people were
She was a
they were just
loudmouth, but yes.
they were so mean and so cruel and so rude to her. And I think, out here when you're up here on this panel, up on the panel like this, it some people can't take pressure the way other people can.
No.
It depends on where you come from. I think it also depends on your job titles and so forth and so on, what you've seen and what you've been through in your life. But for most people, like Molly and Justin and a lot of these YouTubers, some of them haven't been through a whole lot. They might think they have, but they ain't seen nothing, is what I'm saying. But
And I love Justin. He is such an amazing man.
I do too. I love Justin.
I
But
miss him being over here, but he's doing Sebastian's, and I understand. His heart's in that one.
Absolutely. And he loves, I think he's got a real attachment
He loves
to
Summer too.
Sebastian. Oh, he does. He
Yes.
does. But anyway, I think what happens is, like, when you're a YouTuber like that, the pressure gets to you. And sometimes, when Molly went off on these people, these people can push you, man, into a zone you didn't even know existed. You
Yes.
know, they can, because you don't, when you're up here, you got so much hate and so much ugliness and so many people coming at you sideways every day. Every day you have to
Right.
put up with these haters. Every day somebody's doing something to try to piss you off, to try to, and, and you don't even know where this hate's coming from. You don't even know where it's coming from.
No,
It's just,
even like when you pick, sorry, it's like I told my husband, sorry for interrupting you. I'm like, that's why I try to keep the camera off, because people's like, oh my God, let's find out who she is. What did she do?
Mhm.
Check me out. I ain't got nothing to hide, honey.
They do. I'm going to tell you, that's another
My
thing
husband
out here.
said, bullshit, I'm a crazy bitch.
I tell you what, um, is when you're, this is dangerous. It's very dangerous to be
It
a
is. It
YouTuber,
is. On that
especially
YouTube. Yes.
especially if you're not afraid to back down. If you're not afraid
No.
to call out the truth, and and you're not a, you won't back down. It can get real dangerous. If a
Yes, it
lot of
can. And
you
that's
if
why you don't need. Go ahead. Sorry.
a lot of these YouTubers, I've seen a lot of the YouTubers, they back down. They don't want they don't want to tread the waters that we do over here. They don't want to tread the
No,
waters,
they don't.
that we tread. And because they know how dangerous it is, to be out here. I mean, if you're sinister enough to do something to a little 5-year-old child, how much more sinister can you be, right? I
Right.
mean, don't
Right.
I don't underestimate. People say, "Oh, you know, um, PG, we don't underestimate you." Well, I don't underestimate anyone else either. I don't underestimate myself. I don't underestimate others. You know, and
Right.
but you have to, out here, you have to be very, very. These people go real life. These people go real life on people.
Yes, they do.
I mean,
Yes. I
look at
don't
Day
care what they
Day,
do about me. You know what?
right?
They better sweep out their own back doors. Is all I got to tell them. They hate it because they don't know who you are, and I love it. I'm like, not never gonna know who she is. She's probably walked past you 100 times. Quit being jelly.
Yeah, right. I know I have walked past some of them. I know
I
for a
know.
fact.
I have
I
two of them. They're sisters.
haven't only walked past them, but I've actually, been right behind them. And, you
Right.
know, and they say, and they act like they know who you are, and you're like, well, you have plenty of times to walk up and say, "Hey, PG, that's you," but you didn't,
Yep.
right? Matter of
Nope.
fact,
Too scared. Too scared. Too scared.
you had the L so blocked you didn't even turn around to look to see if anyone behind you happened to go out the other way. Right? It cracks
Right.
me up. But no, I when I came to YouTube, I said I'm not going to expose myself, nor am I going to expose my family to this stuff. I was only out here
No.
to I was only out here to help with this child's case. That's what I'm out here for. And
Yes.
I think I've done one hell of an amazing job
You have.
for Summer. I
You
think
got
I
to be
have.
strong to do it. Yes.
I've worked very, very,
Yes, you have.
very hard on this child's case, others' child's cases. Matter of fact, we even brought a child home on this channel. We worked so
Yes, you
diligently,
did. I remember.
you know.
All of us worked
So,
hard on it. Yes.
absolutely. And we found that little girl and we sent the parents to get her. You know, that
Yep.
particular child kept me up all night. I'm working and looking
Right.
and searching, you know, and
That's why
we
with that old lady it hides that you can't find. She's telling you, find summer, find summer. when you hear that voice.
I'm going to tell you, I think if we, I think there is a really good, a really good shot of knowing what happened to Summer and solving her case if we could just get law enforcement out there to that scrapyard.
Get them off our asses. They
I
got time to
really,
listen to us. They can go look.
I really truly believe that if we could get them to that scrapyard, Summer's case will be solved. That's my opinion.
Yep.
That's my opinion, because I'm a pretty good judge of character, and I see how jonesed up he is over all of this, and that tells me there's something there.
Yes.
When you get somebody to rise off their ass, when you get somebody rising up off their ass, you could guarantee something's there. And he's rising
Yes.
up off that
Just like
ass.
I said, you've always been on Summer's case from day one. You've never missed a beat. Fridays, you take your personal day with God, and they can't say you haven't, because you do. You're always about Summer or the other missing kids when you do them.
Amen. You don't, my God comes first and above all. I mean, he
Yes.
put me first, and I put him first. He loved me
Yes.
first. And
Remember Ronnie Lawson? Sorry.
Ronnie Lawson did
Remember
what?
when Ronnie Lawson, that little girl came up missing? Was that in his uncle's shed or his brother's shed?
That little girl was found. She was found. She wasn't found in a shed. She was found out in a wooded area on, I believe it was his uncle, on his uncle's property, way out in the woods. This particular man, that was a pretty easy case to solve, because this particular man, the child lived with, he had custody of the child at one point, but he was doing bad stuff.
Oh,
And the dad had gotten
right.
custody back of this particular child. And what happened is this man went to the school, who didn't realize that he no longer had custody or any rights to be picking the child up. And he picks her up and lures her away from the school, goes to a Walmart store, buys some things, and heads out into out into this big wooded area. And Ronnie Lawson says, let's not only get law enforcement and all these other people involved, but let's get everyone and anyone that wants to help involved. And actually, it was Frank Lights, and one of the Light boys. I don't remember if it was Frank or his brother, but it was one of the Light boys, and it was someone else who actually stumbled upon this little girl and the man out in the wooded area and rescued the little girl. But
Thank
when
God.
Summer
Thank
came,
God.
right? But when Summer came up missing, Ronnie Lawson, what I find weird is Ronnie Lawson says, no one is welcome to search except law enforcement. And it took a lot, and well, what you don't understand is their law enforcement is like fucking nobody. And it took days. It took days to bring law enforcement in from other areas, and a lot of time, a lot of evidence, a lot of everything got totally and utterly fucked up during all of this time, when I think the case could have been, don't work harder, work smarter. I think that Ronnie Lawson dropped the ball because, for one, he didn't take the place off. And two, he didn't treat it like a crime scene. He was supposed to put tape, make everybody leave the hill, put tape around it. And he was supposed to have detectives up there brushing the inside and outside of that door, on the Wells property, to see if there was any fresh fingerprints of Summers or any smudge prints from someone wearing the gloves, or prints that belonged to someone other than the family. He was
Right.
supposed to be, making sure that all of these dogs were put away in a shed or
up.
put away, isolated before bringing the other dogs up there, so no time could be wasted. Should have, the thing is Don and Candace and the kids should have been removed off the hill immediately. Only law enforcement
Yes.
on the hill. No cars should have been allowed. Not even Don Wells' car should have been allowed. Once he got home, it shouldn't have been allowed to go anywhere or move again. It should have been, no, Mr. Wells,
No.
your car has to stay here, and you got to leave. We don't know what happened to your daughter at this particular time, and until we figure it out, no cars are leaving the hill. You guys got to get off the hill. You're not allowed, up here any longer. They just didn't handle it right. And,
No, they didn't.
I think if they would have handled it right, I think they would have absolutely been able to solve Summer's case from day one.
Yes.
They
they
dropped
could
the
have.
ball and didn't have the education it takes to pick it back up and regain everything they had, lost. There's a way to regain it all. They just,
Yes.
didn't know
No.
how,
And the cell phone service, is it spotty up there?
Well, it's not the best. I mean, it's gotten better. It's gotten better since,
Right.
Because they came up and added some, new stuff in there. But
Right.
I don't think it was overly bad,
That bad.
You could, it depends on what kind of phone you had and how you were trying to, how you're trying to tap in and out of there.
Right.
'cause
Here's what I don't understand either. Like California, where it's on fire and stuff, it shows satellite. How come nobody's seen Summer on the satellite the day before, day after, blah, blah, blah? Something's not right.
I find it very strange that, well, the one thing about satellite is, in some areas they only scan it every so often. Like they don't scan it every
Right.
second of every day. They only scan it every so often. And then when they're doing an update of the area, when they're going to do an update, they scan it. And that's why, when you look on the maps, you'll see, like a house with a tractor in the front yard or something. And then,
Right.
when they scan it again, the tractor's gone and, the house looks different. That's how it works. So, the reason
Right. Now, did they have cameras?
the reason the
Wells?
satellite is picking up everything in California is because they're running it to pick it up.
Right.
That,
Right. Now, did the Wells have cameras?
no, not at the time. No, but Jodie Sue did. She had trail
Right. And where'd
cams.
all them go?
Well,
Right. Where'd they all go? Where'd the other birds go?
somehow they disappeared. They seemed to be there when Dobbs was up there to catch him, but
Right.
there was none. There was none when on June 15th. There was
Very
a camera
strange.
down. There was a camera down as you're going out onto Beach Creek, which caught Candace on it.
The neighbors.
Um,
Yes.
After she came, it caught her coming in, going back up to the hill, and then it caught her coming back out again. When she was following Chad Arnold out around
Right.
4 o'clock there, 4:15, following him out. it caught her
altogether,
again.
she's went out what three
She,
times?
yeah, she came in and went back out around the time of Chad Arnold, and then
Mm,
she came back, and then she didn't come back out again until she was until like it was, I think it was after 6:30 she came back down and out after law enforcement was called.
hmm.
She acting like she was looking
Yeah.
for
So
Summer, but really what she was
yeah,
doing, what she was doing is staying on. She was staying on the I think they were FaceTiming, her and Don. They was doing something else. They weren't talking, and they were
right,
FaceTiming, I think, using a different way to communicate.
right,
But she was driving
and
around.
throw your phone in the truck. Right, and then throw your phone in the back of Don's truck. Bull crap,
Well,
bull crap.
well, I think she did that. I think she threw her phone in the truck when she went down to Fred's house because she
Ooh,
didn't want her phone pinging. She didn't know where it would ping,
pink.
and she was afraid it would ping down there. So when she went down to Fred's, and then when she came back past and followed him out, it was the camera that caught her because she didn't have her phone.
Right,
She wasn't pinging. But when the reason that when she came out at 6:30 though, she stayed. The reason she came back off the
right,
hill at 6:30 is because she was so fucking nervous, and she knew law enforcement's coming in, so she wanted to stick with Donald until he got there, and then and could talk for her and protect her, and because she was just like she didn't want to go to prison, and and
right.
when and you know when you're around cops, when you're around police officers, you think they can read your mind. You think they can read everything
Yes,
about you. You think they can tell if you're guilty or not, you know. And Candace has this, she has this phobia. She doesn't realize, that police officers are just normal human beings like me and you. They really can't,
right,
they don't know shit unless you tell them. And, you know, and so she was scared. She was scared because why?
right.
Why are you going to, I mean, what I'm saying is if your child was really missing and you had no fucking idea where it's at, your ass is going to stay right there on that hill waiting for law enforcement to come because you want to talk to them. You want something done. Because why? You're not afraid. But when you come off that hill and you go riding around
That's
waiting until
right.
Tom Wells comes home, you got something fucking you're scared of. You're
You
hiding
got
for
something to
sure.
hide. Yes.
Absolutely. And that's what she did. That's what she did. And in my
Mm-mm.
opinion, them mother freakers, they planned this. They when they cut her hair off, they planned this. And Don was holding
Yes,
her,
they
and
did.
I'm sorry, Summer. He said he knew she's going to be gone. 18 days later, she was, when he was driving the other vehicle, firing his coworker to blame it all on and to protect his ass with
Old Dudley.
the Starlink.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this was, and it sounds like Andy Bernard might have, it sounds like, I don't know whose ideal it was, but he seems to be driving a car that day too that seemed to have GPS as well. You know,
Yeah.
so
Very.
that tells me that they must have been corresponding because he wanted to make sure he
Yes.
wasn't there anywhere around it as well. You know, um, it just really looks like it was, planned out, really, really thought
Yes.
over and
Everything was
planned out to a
pre-planned out
T.
ahead of time.
Yeah, and I
Yep.
mean that's just creepy
Now, wasn't
weird.
Summer supposed to get? Yeah. Now, wasn't Summer supposed to get inheritance or something from her grandpa or great grandpa?
No, nothing at all.
Okay. Okay.
Her
Because why did they
grandpa,
know that? You know what I mean?
her grandpa ain't got nothing to give. He was 100 and some $1,000 in debt, and his wife,
Ooh.
whoever outlived the other one, it gets it all. and neither one of
Right.
them knew who was going to go first. I mean, he happened to go first. Now everything belongs to his
Right.
wife. Nothing belongs to anyone else. I mean, ain't nobody
Right.
standing to get crap. And there's like other than,
Right. And that cemetery. Right. In a cemetery too close to the house, was there a funeral a week before that? It needs checked.
they had actually there's more than one cemetery close to that place. I mean, you got the Light Cemetery, you got the Morrison Cemetery, you got there's so many cemeteries around there. I think the Smiths might have a cemetery. The goats have a place
I
where they
remember
go
that one. Yeah. Yeah.
they're I mean, it's like, wow. It's like the backwoods of Kentucky where, cemeteries in the backyard of everybody's house.
Right.
You lay down, go to sleep, and the moon's shining down. You look out the window and there's a bunch of tombstones. It's like, whoa, right?
Right.
It's like, I mean, some places you lay down, you wish you had a bulletproof cover. But in places like that,
Right.
that ain't going to help you none, right? I mean,
Nope.
you look out that window and see them tombstones, and hell, they ain't nothing. They ain't nothing, You go to sleep wondering if you're going to be a ghost tomorrow from, your hair sticking up when you see one leaning over your bed or something. Right?
Right. Or we're going to be Jenny fall in the basement.
Right? It's like, whoa, I don't know. I mean, there's some scary places, everywhere. Yes, especially
Yeah.
the South. The farther south you go, I think the worse it probably gets.
I'd say. I hope I didn't make your numbers go down in your chat. I hope we're still up. You
Oh
all help
no,
support Summer's channel, please. Help Mama PG.
amen. I'm going to tell you,
Support
I
Summer
am
and Mama PG. Keep these
I
going.
am so thankful. I am so thankful for all the people here that support this little girl. I think it's amazing. I think it's amazing
It
that
is.
God puts
A lot
these
of us.
people in one place for these missing children. And what I find even more amazing is the strength and the courage all of these people have to and the faith to keep going and going and going until something's done in these missing children's cases. I mean,
Yeah.
these people really stuck with the West case. They really stuck with, Sebastian's case right now, Michael Vaughn's case. They're sticking with it. They're sticking with, little Quentin Simon's case. I mean, they stuck with it till the very end, and, through Leilani's trials and everything else. Megan
I
Boswell,
was watching it. Leilani's. Ugh.
right? The Megan Boswell
Yeah,
case
what
is
happened about
coming up.
Megan?
Yeah, it's coming up. It's
Good.
coming up here real soon. So we're going to cover that for sure. She's getting ready to be tried and convicted. And that's another case that took a long time for them to figure out, where this little girl was, and so forth. I mean,
Yes.
mommy was out free for it seemed like ever and a day before that case got
Yes.
solved as well. So sometimes it takes months, sometimes it takes years to solve these children's cases.
Yep.
But it's amazing how these people out here that support these missing children, how they have the strength and the courage and everything to stick with it and really give it their all. They're giving it their all. And the thing is we deserve closure. We deserve answers, and we deserve closure, because we do really care.
Yes, we do.
Because, and we just want law enforcement to do what they do best, solve cases. We want it solved,
Yeah.
right?
Yep. Yes. Do you
and
remember Candace, Dawn, and the boys having cross necklaces?
yeah, yeah, I remember that. I do.
Well, wonder where they went. That's awful weird. Cassie, the friend, got them too.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
I said, I wonder if Cassie, the friend's got them cross necklaces too.
I don't know. I don't know. I found
Because
it
when you
kind
see
of
Candace
weird.
doing a video, you don't see
You
it.
know, like Don Wells said, I'll see her in the resurrection. And Candace coming out
Oh,
saying,
dirty Dawn.
I hate to say this, I hate to say this, but I got to set Summer aside because the boys are still here, still alive. Summer always be
Right.
with me. Um, you know, like both of them told you, both of them made it clear that she's not no longer with us. And then,
Yes, she's not here.
I'm starting to think, was the necklaces a sign that possibly, um, you know, they that's how they might have disposed of her. I don't know.
Ashes,
I
yeah.
don't know. You know,
This
it
case
sounds,
is norm. It's an unnorm one.
it seems to me, it seems to me, I mean, in my opinion, Candace took Hunter to that swimming hole, and that's where
For a
Summer was no
reason.
longer. That's where she was no longer
With
with us.
us.
Then I
Yep.
think Candace got back to the house, dropped Grandis off, went down to Fred's, and I think somehow Fred and Laura obtained Summer at that point, in my opinion, and they left out with her. That's when Chad came in and caught Candace. Candace didn't go to the door because she already knew Laura was with Fred, and they done left. Um, that's just
Yep.
my opinion,
And I
and
think they
I
changed her at Allie's too.
and I truly believe that if they check that vehicle, they're going to find either. In my opinion, I think they're either going to find Summer or they're going to find signs
Yep.
of Summer being there. That's what I think.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Yes.
And I
I
think
mean, look
that,
how they did poor little. They found him. It might have been in pieces, but buddy, they found him. And
right,
I think that's how it's gonna be with Summer.
little Quentin, yes, it was
Yes.
bad.
That's how it'll find Summer.
I think Cotton had knowledge upon Summer's case. And I think that could be why he's not with us anymore.
Right.
Laura said
And
that
it's weird.
Cotton,
Everybody passes.
right, right, you know,
Do you,
yeah,
do you trust Laura?
it's about as far as I could throw her.
Yeah, because I think she knew more than what she's saying. Oh well, Fred didn't tell me. He's trying to protect me. No bullshit. They're protecting
You
each
know,
other. All of them are.
Laura's really bad off. I'm not just talking about, her medical conditions,
Right.
but she's really bad off, as in, what I'm saying is,
Math.
well, yeah, what I'm saying is where she's bad off at, you're not promised another second. When you're doing what
Right.
these people are doing and what they're getting into, you may not be here tomorrow. And
No.
that's I wouldn't want to have information that could solve a little girl's case. I would not want to have information that could solve a little 5-year-old
No.
girl's case and end up going out of this world, in a it's bad enough you're
Not
going out of this
telling.
world. Well, it's bad enough you're going out of this world with that habit causing it, but to have that on top of it, man, that's like a sure ticket. I think I would.
Yes, it is.
What I'm saying is, Laura's got nothing to lose. She ain't got nothing to lose by telling.
Right.
Absolutely nothing.
Right.
Matter of fact, I think she has. I think she has all to gain because I think if she,
Right.
I do think she holds information. I think if she went to law enforcement and she told everything she knows, I believe Laura could not only get, they wouldn't, I think she could get out of everything. I think they would let her out of
Right.
everything. And I truly believe that they might even, I think people might be, compelled to get up a fund and help her.
Maybe not getting in much trouble.
I think a
Right.
lot of people might help her get her life straight. I think a lot of people might help her, get into a real, a real home, a real vehicle. I think people might,
Right.
if she was good enough to help a 5-year-old, I think a lot of people would be good enough to help her,
To help her. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I think she would have all to gain, nothing to lose in all of this, because really
Right.
law enforcement, they don't want Laura. They want they want the people involved in all of this that, concocted it all up and basically executed it. And
Yes.
that's
They
what
all
they're wanting.
pre-planned it. They did the ones. It's sickening.
Yeah, I lost her. She must have kicked herself off. I'm sorry. Come back. But yeah, I truly believe that I truly believe that Laura can make a plea deal with them. I think she could, she could not get one day in jail for, anything if she just talk. And I think she knows a lot. I think she knows a lot about cotton. I think she knows a lot about summer. I think, Laura knows a whole lot. And I don't know if she'd ever tell or not. I don't know if she'd ever tell or not. She might. She might. I'm more banking on Hunter. I think Hunter's going to end up. I think Hunter's the one's going to end up in a real pickle, and end up, possibly telling. Oh, her phone's on charge. Okay, I'm sorry. But yeah, I'm not banking on Don or Candace. I'm banking on Hunter or one of the other people. Who knows? Jodie Sue might tell it all. I don't know. She gets crazier every day. She may be the one to tell everything. What's up, girl?
Sorry, my phone died. Sorry,
Yeah.
my phone croaked. I'm like, no.
Yeah, I've seen you in the chat saying that, and I'm like, wait a minute, she's back here. I didn't know if it was you.
She's hiding.
Yeah.
Yep, it was me. Just crazy me.
I have a video that Tyler posted online. They are destroying the. Oh, who else took them? And Candace Wells took them, and they dropped it off a well. In the background, you can see the location where they are. Oh, wow. I'd like to see that video, girl. I appreciate if you could send it to me. Summer Moon, Utah Wells will never forgive. We'll never give up. We love you. She dropped in the basement. She's joining Jenny. They're down there eating my brownies. I know it, you guys. They're down there eating my brownies. Everybody wants to come up and drop in the basement now so they can get PG's brownies before I get some. I gotta get off and drop in the basement too, right? Hey, girl, you drop in the
I'm
basement,
back.
eat my brownies.
I had to go find Jenny in the basement.
Yeah, I thought so. She was eating my brownies, wasn't she?
Yes, she did. She shared a
Yeah.
couple with me.
I heard that. I heard that. She better save me some. I'm gonna be upset if she don't. I'm gonna be upset.
She'll go
She
back
made
to the
me.
basement.
She made. I'm gonna have to go back. I'm gonna have to go back to my kitchen and bake them. She
Yep.
made me. She makes me sweat baking them all up, and then she stays in the basement and eats them.
Darn her. She better quit and share with everybody.
Right.
All right. Well, I'm going to jump back in chat. I love you. Prayers to you and your family. Prayers to you all in
And
the chat. I'll be back in a
Christy,
minute.
you too, girl. I appreciate you coming up and hanging out and talking with us. I
I
love it when
enjoy it.
people
I
come
hate it
up.
when you get offline.
Now I'm
I
getting
hate it. I
ready to
just told my
go.
husband, I said, I can listen to her. I can listen to you all night long.
I wish I could talk. You know, the way some people act, they think I'm immortal, right? They think that PG's immortal. I think I could stay here all night
Right.
long and for a week if I wanted to, but I'm afraid I'm from Earth,
You
not
can't.
heaven. Right?
Right. All right. I love you and prayers to you all.
Hey, girl, I love
I'll
you
be
too.
back in
God
chat.
bless.
You too.
Anyway, yeah. I tell you, if I was from heaven, I'd be in a lot of trouble, right? I'd be in a lot of trouble right now. especially with especially with me getting upset once in a while and you using words I don't know if God would overly approve of, right? But I'm sure he understands. I'm sure he understands how upsetting doing this kind of thing right here is. You know, it takes a lot out of a human, you know, to be up on these panels because you got these missing children, you know, that you so care about and so many other people care too. And you just want everybody to get closure. You want, like the Wells boys, to be able to live life normally. You want this little beautiful child to be found, brought home, laid to rest properly if she ain't with us. And, you know, you just want justice. You just want the evil beings to be, you know, locked away so you know that all these other children are safe and no more is going to end up like that. You know, it can be overwhelming. It can be overwhelming out here, you know, to say the least. To say the least. And I'm sure God understands, you know, how upsetting this can be, especially when you got all these people lying, all these people that know so much, but they're playing games and lying. You know, they got to be a special place in hell for people who could be that evil. A special place. Yeah, with crocodile tears, wire me up. um, but yeah, um, it's hard, but we know you liars need to tell where Summer Moon you told Wells. Yes, just as they do. You know, man, I tell you, I don't know how so many people could not have a conscience. I don't know how so many people could not have a heart. You know, I like to say they're black hearted, but these motherfuckers don't have a heart at all. I guess a black heart's better than none, right? I guess a black one's better than none. But it is what it is. You know, they're just evil, and there's nothing, you know, nothing no one could say or do about that. And I'm sorry. You know, I'm sorry that people are that evil on this earth. You know, it's sad. And you have to pray for everybody because that's what Jesus tells us to do, right? When you bow your head and you pray, you have to pray for all people to go to heaven, not just some. And God's the judge, not you. But sometimes you just want to be the freaking jury, the judge, and all, right? Sometimes you just want to be it all. And you're asking yourself, why can't law enforcement see what you're seeing, right? Why can't they see? If we can see everything, what is their problem? Why ain't they doing this? Why ain't they doing that? But they are. And that's what's got Michael's case. People so angry in Michael's case as well. Because all the cards are on the table. Summer's case, we got all the cards on the table. Law enforcement's got all the cards on the table. And Michael Vaughn's case, they got the cards on the table. They just, ain't willing to take this circumstantial evidence to prosecute upon. They want Michael or they want Summer. They're not willing to use, circumstantial. And and if you ask me, there's enough circumstantial in both cases to prosecute tomorrow. They could prosecute tomorrow with the, with if they were going to go off with circumstantial. And I think that cases like this should be done with the circumstantial evidence. I really do. But law enforcement does not make those calls. They're not the court system. See, the courts and the higher up people, over all of this, they're the ones making those calls and those judgments. If law enforcement had their way, let me tell you, circumstantial evidence would be enough and they would be prosecuting, right? But it's out of their hands. They can only do so much, and then their hands are tied, and it frustrates them. It makes but law enforcement gets all the heat. They get all the heat because nobody wants to think about the court and the other people causing all of this not to be solved, right? That's the thing, and that's hard. That's hard for law enforcement and everyone else. So okay, you guys, I'm gonna get out of here. I think we stirred Andy up pretty good today, and I think we've stirred Fred up pretty good too. I think we stirred him up pretty good too. Down the road, remember me saying this. Remember me saying that we stirred both of them up today, right? We stirred them both up today. And that's a good thing. But remember me saying it, because on down the road, I'm going to remind you guys of why. We know how we stirred Andy up. But I'm going to tell you why I know Fred stirred up today. Right? I'm going to tell you why I knew he was so stirred up on down the road. I won't let that out tonight, but I know he stirred. Okay? And you guys will understand when I tell you down the road. PG knows what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. In all my madness, I know what I'm doing. And you guys know I do. I do. I've been here long enough. You guys know I know what I'm doing. So, keep faith, keep those prayers going up. Keep the prayers going up for Summer, Moon, Utah, Wells. Keep those prayers going up, because I know from our lips to God's ears, through his son, Jesus Christ, he is listening. And I know God is answering little by little Summer's Summer's case is coming to the light. And I'll tell you, I truly believe if we got to have Summer to get this case prosecuted and justice served, I truly believe God's going to let us find her. I truly believe that. So keep those prayers going up and keep faith in God that He's going to do whatever it takes to let Summer's case be solved. In the name of His Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. Keep your prayers going up for Michael Vaughn. Keep them going up for Sebastian Rogers. Keep them going up for all of these children. Keep them going up for the little Boswell girl. Keep them going up for her because she's about to get justice here real soon. And we're going to make sure we're there to see what justice serves upon her. This evil parent who could do such an evil thing. So keep the prayers going up. Keep them going up for one another. There's a lot of you needing prayer tonight. I know it. I can feel it. There's a lot of people got a lot of things going on. And I know a lot of people in here are needing prayers. Let us pray for one another, right? Let us send up prayers for each and every person in here tonight. And the ones that are just viewing, outside the chat, there's a lot of people viewing. And I don't know what's going on in their lives, but I, for some reason, feel they need prayer too. Matter of fact, they're like, they're like looking forward to it. They're looking forward to it. They're like, yes, please pray for me. So let us be the ones praying in the name of Jesus Christ for everyone. For everyone. I don't know what they need. I can't tell you what they need. I can just tell you they need prayer. I can feel that people are needing prayer. So please, I have no idea what they need, but God does. And just tell God, hey, I don't know what they need, Lord, but you do. And I just pray that you answer each and every one of our prayers in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. That's what we got to pray. All right, everybody. And that's how easy it was because I just prayed for everyone myself before we left out of here. And I know God's listening. So worry not because everything's going to be fine, y'all. It's going to be okay. Good night, everybody. God bless. Much love.